it's penalized legally to say some things, right?
Yeah.
So that's horrible. It's like if I want to respect someone, be it a woman, be it an LGBT member, I will decide on a personal basis how I speak or how I respect that person because I care for them, because I respect them, because I love them, but not by law.
Yeah.
Instead of being more free each time, especially the states, the land of the free, the land of the free. Where's the freedom?
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're going to less and less freedom. Well, we've been jumping into freedom topic. Look at what happened in the last 3 years, right? Zero freedom. They took away all our freedom. It's not our decision what
Yeah.
we do with our body anymore. We cannot walk in the street. In the Philippines, I don't know if you know, but we still wear masks. You know, it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
Like my friend just visited from Spain and he was like, huh? Why is everyone wearing a mask? We don't wear it since last year. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, because we're
Yeah.
scared of this, you know, these other illnesses, like the, what's that? Monkey something? Or
Monkey choo choo. That's what it is.
wherever.
Choo
Monkeypox.
choo.
Monkeypox and the other strains of the virus of COVID.
They, there's always something every year. We always have something to be afraid of in the Philippines and in the world, you know. But in the Philippines, every other month we have a typhoon. Every year we have volcano, earthquakes. We don't need extra fear. You know, there's a certain tribe that thinks that fear is a sickness, and when one member is in Africa and they have fear, they put them out. They send them out in quarantine if they have fear because it's contagious and it's a sickness of the mind. When they're out of fear, then they come back. You know, fear makes people miserable, and they don't achieve their greatness and all this stuff that a man should be doing. You know, pursuit of greatness. But they make people fearful, and then it's easy to control people, and then they can impose whatever they want in the name of safety.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but shouldn't there be some sort of limit or regulation, you know, as far as our behavior is concerned?
No, for the behavior, let people do whatever the fuck they want in their house, you know, and don't come to my house to tell me what I have to do.
Okay, that's your private space, right?
Should be, I hope, I wish.
And and for the most part, or maybe when it comes to adults, we expect them to really, you know, be able to handle themselves and learn from their mistakes, maybe.
But if they don't
But
learn, it's up
is
to
it?
them. It's
Yeah, yeah,
on
but
them.
okay.
It's like, for me, not even the government shouldn't even impose that you wear a helmet in the motorcycle. It's
Oh.
up to you. If you break your head, it's up to you.
I think there's something wrong there in terms of our safety. We don't tell people not to cross not to cross the road when you know you put up signs like slippery when wet and all those things. We should like already install the safety measures or safety tools or whatever into the system, right? So we can avoid accidents and mishaps. So, oh, and before we go any further, guys, where we're already live on YouTube right now, and this is the special kind of a special edition of this weekly smorgasbord we have here on Zoom, and well, Plus just turned 11 years yesterday.
Congrats!
Thank you. And
Congrats.
I think you've been also part of the Plus group, Kuya.
Yeah,
Although
yeah.
you've been just lurking there, uh, and well, we playfully consider ourselves mutants.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah.
No, like the X-Men and this stuff.
Yeah.
But well, so we've come a long way from just like an offshoot or a reaction to other organizations, and I think that we've remained on course for the past 11 years, although we have no cent to our name, and we just relied we people just contributed their time and talent and money to for our goals and advocacies, to be able to help others in whatever small way we could. So we've been doing this fundraiser when Conspiracy Bar or Garden Cafe was still around. We've been holding these fundraisers every month for let's see, almost 9 years straight.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I missed like a few months of the fundraiser. And I was not really in my head, you know, or my mind somewhere else. So and well, quite recently, in addition to our advocacy, I incorporated this goal of spreading the news about this thing called the resource-based economy. And well, you of all people, Kuya, have been affected by social political struggles or problems, and so basically we're here to share ideas, throw ideas around and see what could possibly work and what we deserve in the future. You know, what we should do based on scientific information.
What we should do about money making?
Well, that's part of it because we're still stuck here in the system, right? And we can't live without money, basically.
Uh,
And well, since you mentioned it, I mean, Clifton here has been also trying to invest in stocks and whatnot, right? And Kuya Manzano here, Cliff, is also an investor.
that's
So,
my favorite topic.
Great. We could talk for hours because it's
Yeah.
one of mine too.
I love money talk. Yes.
excuse me, guys.
Yeah.
So, well, among other things, I'd like also to discuss scientific stuff. Your position as an atheist, for example, Kuya, because Kuya used to be the chapter leader or something
Yeah, for passing. Yeah.
for a certain city here in Manila until
Until I was
recent.
censored. Yeah. By the community.
Sure,
Yeah.
I mean, stuff like that happens. You belong to an organization with hierarchy and all that, and then you should follow rules and stuff. Um, well, plus on the other hand, this plus is quite loosely organized, or we don't have such rigid rules. I think we leave people to their to their judgment, you know, for the discernment of things. But it seems that sometimes we've just dragged along for too long without really learning what we should have learned, like maybe decades ago, centuries ago, as humanity. So, one of those it's one of those things we should maybe tackle. Yeah, so starting off with well, maybe we should start with investing first. And
Yeah. I have one point. I have one point to make because yesterday I had a meeting and there was this girl who's a teacher and saying how important money is and stuff, and we need our jobs. And I said, wait a moment. Our goals should be not to need our jobs. That should be our goal. Because if not, you're gonna work until you die, dude. So my new formulation got inspired by Grant Cardone. All your salary, anything you earn, should be for investing. Everything actively earned should be for investing, and only what comes from the passive cash flow. That's where you use to buy groceries, to buy a Ferrari, whatever you want. But your salary should go aggressively, until you're out of the rat race, until you're not a slave anymore, until you don't need to work in order to survive. Because if not, you're always, like a mouse inside the rat race. So nobody does this. I mean, 99% of people don't do this. But we are in modern day slavery. We are slaves. If we're not working, we die of hunger. We have to beg from my mom food. And that cannot be. It's not correct. So, okay, we're slaves. We were born slaves, most of us, fine. Now we have to buy our freedom. How do you buy it? Through creating passive cash flow. You start investing until there's a moment. Because the more I invest, more passive comes, little by little, with stocks, for example, with dividends. And one day, I earn enough to pay all my bills. It happens eventually. Depends on your speed. Depends on how much gasoline you
How
put.
aggressive you are, right?
Yeah.
You have an aggressive profile as an investor.
Very safe way. No. No risk.
No risk.
I'm talking about a way to get rich 100% sure with no risk. The more you risk, go to the casino. I say don't risk. I teach people how to get rich the slow way. If someone tells you you're gonna make money fast, run. That's a scam. That's a scam. Run away. There's no shortcut. It's very risky. You can get rich in the casino. You can buy a meme coin and it goes to the moon, but that's like the lottery. That's luck. That's not investing. That's speculating.
It's gambling.
So you cannot make a strategy out of speculation and luck. That's not planifiable. You're not gonna make a roadmap with that. But baby steps and increasing your passive income every month in a safe way, say real estate, say stocks with dividends. That way, yes, you can do it. It's gonna take you longer, but you're gonna get there for sure, 100%. 100% sure. It will take you long.
Yes.
Clifton, you're a stock investor. Are you buy and hold or buy and sell?
It's all about long-term
There you go.
dividend earning investments.
You're my new friend.
Yeah. Now, I wouldn't go as far as say 100% because nothing is 100% with investing, but it's very tried and true. It's very consistent, and it's a definite game plan that can be reliably carried out. And that's what most people get caught up on, I think, is that, especially when in my country, we're raised in a way to expect and want instant gratification. And that's why all these get-rich-quick schemes make so much money for people, because they tell people, oh, in 3 months, you could be making $10,000 a month doing this or that, or real estate, whatever it is. So I see it as a business. Investing is a business to try to gain financial independence. So we probably have a lot of this very similar approaches to it. But for me, it's not about just wanting to be rich or making more money or buying things. It's about, like you said, getting out of the rat race and earning our freedom from the monetary system. And the reason is because you also said we're pretty much born into slavery, and it takes over so many hours of your life, the best years of your life. And if you can break away from that, yet still be able to survive and thrive, you now have time back, which is the most valuable thing. You're buying your time back. So instead of just going to your job and working for your money, you're putting your money to work for you. And it takes years and years of accumulation. And my strategy that I've adopted, I have a couple different things that I use for that. Hold on one second. So I had to turn on my fan. My main strategy is dividend growth investing.
There you go.
And you've probably heard of groups of these particular stocks called dividend kings and dividend aristocrats. If not, then that's my main approach, is to invest in those. These are very long-term investments in companies that have been around for many, many years.
Big
Who not
company.
only, yeah, they don't just pay a dividend for a lot of years, but they've been paying it and raising it consecutively for at least 25 years. So the dividend aristocrats are, I'm in the US, so it's US based companies, but mostly there's some good ones outside of the US too.
Yeah,
But-
the same in the Philippines. You can do the same.
Yeah,
It's just there.
yeah, I've been trying to help Steven with that, but he has, limited choices over there. But these dividend aristocrats are companies that belong in the S&P 500 and have shown that they've raised their dividends 25 years in a row. So these are large companies that have also proven that they can be stable enough to raise their dividend 25 years in a row consecutively. And then there's the dividend kings, which may be smaller companies, but they've done it 50 years in a row.
Wow.
And that in itself is a big, it's proof that these companies have a very stable financial management. So they can, if they can do that, then it tells you a lot about them, because it's very difficult to consistently raise dividend payments to all of your shareholders every year. So the ones that can do it for that many in a row, that says a lot about them. And chances are, if they've done it that many years in a row, they'll continue to do it. And that's the basis of the approach.
Yeah, and say you invested in 15 companies. If one goes down, it's still fine because the other ones keep on going. So it's not that you're gonna go broke because eventually one will go down, because that's also normal with companies. But your strategy continues to work, and the beauty of this is you buy one time, you don't need to buy. You can continue to buy, but you buy one time and it will pay you for the next 25 years. It's a dream.
Yeah.
It's like a fantasy, but it's legal and it's doable by anyone. But most people don't do it for some reason, or I don't know. They're scared. See, we go back to fear. People are scared because they don't know about it. They're scared of the unknown.
Yeah, most people are intimidated by the financial system, and they think it's too complex for them to understand, and it's really not. It's fairly simple. It's just that there's these terms, this terminology they use for all these financial benchmarks that make it sound like it's complicated, but really it's not. A company pays dividends to its shareholders through its profits, and it's just like profit sharing, and all you have to do is know how to open an account online, know how to select a symbol and hit the buy button, and then after that you do nothing. See, that's what most people have a problem with, is they buy something, they get emotionally invested in it, and they follow this. There's a lot of news out there. There's a lot of financial websites and news out there that want you to, they profit off of you continuing to buy and sell and buy and sell, right? And they work off that fear, right? Oh, this stock, this financial analyst says this is going to go down, you need to sell now. And there's just all of this hype in the marketplace. And really, if you have confidence in what you invest in and you're willing to hold for ideally a minimum of 5 or 10 years, and I prefer to just buy things that you plan on keeping until you die and you pass on to someone
forever.
else.
Yeah.
The forever stocks, right? Like Apple. If you own Apple, I'd say, I'm not saying what you should do, but I'm not going to sell any of it, right? They're where they're at for a reason. They run very efficiently. Even though they don't pay a high dividend, it's going to continue almost guaranteed. So there's that. I've also recently learned how to trade options in a safe way.
In a safe way? Okay, tell us about the safe way, because options sounds, I know what they are. It's risky. In my book so far, it's risky. So tell me, how do we do the options in a safe way?
Yeah, one way, it all depends on what kind of cash you have, what your investments are. But options are simply a way of, it's like a layer on top of the stock market. It's all based on the price of stocks. And it's basically a market where people are speculating on what's going to happen with the price. So if, say, go ahead.
But the thing with options, it's very active trading.
Yes, it's
have
very
to be,
different.
It's like a job. You gotta be in front of the computer. You get stressed about it. You have to take decisions and buy and sell.
Right.
But my point is, even the biggest experts in it fail at it the whole time and jump out of buildings, right? Because when you're trading, that's why I don't like trading. I like investing. I buy and hold, not buy and sell, because trying to time the market, be it with stocks or with options or with Bitcoin, it's like, even if you have an illusion or a delusion that you know what the stock is going to do, because your graph, your math, your computer tells you what it should be doing. But the reality is, many times it does the total opposite, no? And like, oh, my prediction failed. And then you justify it. No, because this happened. But the thing is, you lost the money already. In an option, you cannot hold an option forever, because the option is going to die in 1 month or whenever, right? It has to be. So that's why if it doesn't go where you want it to go, so
it can. There's two sides to every option, though. There's a buyer and there's a seller. If you're a buyer of an option and it has, let's say, a month till it expires, that means you have to time it so well that, say you buy the option and you're bullish on a stock, you think it's going to go up. So you buy the option and it accounts for 100 shares instead of just 1 or 2. So right off the bat, it allows you to control 100 shares of a stock. So you're very leveraged, right? But you don't have to put a lot down to get that leverage. You say you spend $100 and you now control 100 shares of a stock. If it doesn't go up within that 1 month, then your $100 expires. The option expires, it goes away, and you earn nothing. So that's the selling point for a lot of people, is it allows them to invest in something short term without putting a lot of money down with a high potential of earning. So
with a maybe higher return.
It's a very low chance of succeeding. But if you have a certain investment, and say you own 100 shares of Apple, instead of buying an option, you can actually be the seller of the option. And instead of paying that what it's called is a premium, the amount that the buyer pays. If you're selling the option, then you receive that premium instead of be the one that pays it. And when that option expires, nothing happens. You just keep the premium that you received. And so if you have, say, 100 shares of Apple, and let's just, for simplicity, say you
Wait,
got them for
you have the
$100.
100 shares of Apple for real? You really own them as stocks?
Yes, in your
Okay.
account, you have it. You don't plan on selling it,
Mm-hmm.
but you can then make a little bit off of those shares. You're leveraging them to earn income for you, basically.
You put
So-
a selling option out.
Yeah, you could sell an option to somebody on those 100 shares, and you pick the price that you're willing to sell those shares at. So if you bought them for 100, let's say you don't think it's going to reach 150 within a month, right? So you could sell the option to somebody at 150 or 140. They think it's going to go up in that time. You're pretty sure it's not going to. So if the worst that could happen is the price goes way up and you have to sell those shares at a major profit. You receive a premium for that in the beginning of, let's say, $100, just to make it simple. And if that option expires and the price has not reached that 150 point, then you keep your shares and you keep the premium, and the option is now expired.
Mm-hmm.
Then at that point, you can just repeat the process. You're selling it instead of buying. So the odds are in your favor, not in the favor of the buyer.
Okay,
Right.
wait. Let me
You-
see if I'm understanding. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you own the 100. You sell. You make a selling option, and you
Yeah.
charge whatever $10 for that, for a selling option. So
Yeah,
whoever buys the selling option is betting on the stock going down.
not if it's a call option. Call options are ones where they're betting that it goes up.
Okay. So you're selling, okay. You're selling the call option going up. Okay. So
Yeah.
this would not work for a going down market, no?
No,
For-
if you're,
For a put. It would not work for a put option. This strategy,
Right.
it would
if
not.
you're,
Okay.
if you're selling a put option, it means that you are bullish,
Yeah.
right? If you're
So-
selling a call option, that means you're bearish. So
Okay. So
it gets complicated.
this strategy only works when you sell a put option. The
No,
strategy you're proposing right now
uh,
will work if you sell put options, not if you sell call options. Am I correct?
well, you can do either one.
Or you can do
sell a
both.
put or you can sell a call. It depends on where you think the price is going to go.
No.
But we're-
So it's not, you won't make money for sure.
If you're selling, you for sure will make the premium amount that the person pays.
Okay, yeah.
But what determines if something happens or not is where the price is at the end of that, at expiration of that option.
Yeah, let's see the two scenarios, no? So I own the 100 Apple stock. I sell an option to someone who thinks it's going up. Okay, they're betting it's going up. Okay,
Right.
so there's two scenarios that can happen. So he pays me $10, right? He pays me $10 for that option. So far I have 110 because I have my, well, I have whatever I have my stock, whatever value it is, and plus 10. I
Yeah.
just earned $10. Okay, fine so far. If it goes up, he makes money, he's happy, and I have to sell him my stock for the original price. So what I did, I made the profit of $10. All the profit I made, any profit of whatever I sold the options for. Is that correct?
That's not exactly. I'm getting confused on what you mean, but
Okay, okay. Say he bought the option from you. You earned the premium, and it went where he wanted it to go.
right,
Therefore, he executes the buying from you.
right. So
So
at that,
you won't have your stocks anymore.
if it does reach that price, then your account gets assigned and you sell your 100 shares at the price that you indicated, that you
So
agreed
you earn,
upon.
so you earn 10 more dollars, and that's a
No,
premium. No.
well, you're earning on the premium upfront, and when the price goes up to the agreed upon price that you sell them, you're earning off of that as well. So the point is, in order for you to sell your stock, the price has to go up, earning you more at that point. And the person buys it at that point, and you're the one providing the 100 shares to that person. So before anything happens, you know going in what you're going to sell those 100 shares at, and you can calculate what you want to earn
Yeah.
off of them.
Okay, okay.
But
So
the idea is,
you would profit from two places, from the difference of the new price and from
right,
the option,
and from the premium you sold,
from the
right?
premium you charge him.
And
All
that's the
right.
worst that can happen is you sell the 100 shares at the price you select. And at that point, you could buy them back, or you could just keep the profit that you earned off of that and buy something else or whatever it is. But the concept that I'm doing is you're you're not trying to be greedy and make a lot off the option, just a little bit, and to hold on to the shares. And there's ways to know what the approximate percentage chances of the price reaching that. It's called the delta. There's all these stats that you can look at for options that indicate how much volatility there is and so on. So I don't recommend buying options because time is against you, right? When it expires, it expires. If the price didn't move in your direction, it's over. Whatever you paid, it's gone. I would recommend selling options because you become like the insurance company, right? If someone's buying a insurance policy, they're paying a little bit each month, and it's protecting them in case something bad happens, right? So the odds are in the insurance company's favor, not the buyer of the policy, right? They're just doing that to protect themselves. So the odds, if you're selling an option, are in your favor, not in the favor of the person buying them. I think it's like 66% of all options expire worthless, right? Then it's a known thing, but you can actually make it even higher so that the price that you select that you're willing to sell your shares at is maybe 5% or 10%, right? At that rate, you can afford to keep on selling an option, waiting for it to expire, doing it again, and just repeat the process. Eventually, you might have to sell part of your shares, but you'll only be doing that at a major profit because you select the price you're willing to sell them at. That's called the strike price. And it all sounds really complicated, but that scenario is just called a covered call option. It's covered because you have the shares already. And it's a call option because nothing happens unless the price goes up to a certain level. And that means that the person who owns the option can call the shares into their account, right? That's where the terminology comes from. So you can sell calls and you can sell puts. And with puts, it's the opposite, but you're still selling it. And you're just basically saying, okay, Apple's at 100. I'd like to own more Apple, but I only want to pay 75. So you could sell a put option and also make the premium. And if you have the cash to buy 100 shares at 75, then if the price goes down to 75, it gets triggered, and now you get that 100 shares of Apple at 75 instead of 100. So if you have the cash to do that, you can say, okay, I'm willing to pay 75. I don't want to pay 100 or 120. So you sell the option, and that gives somebody the right to put those shares into your account. That's why they call it a put option, right? So there's no risk going in as long as you already know you have the cash and you want to buy those shares. So when you sell that put option, you're also receiving the premium. And if the price doesn't go down to your price that you're willing to buy at, nothing happens and it expires again, right? And so people just keep doing that. And if you only do that with assets that you want to own and that are high quality companies, businesses you want to own shares of, you also can just keep repeating that. And so you're essentially naming the price that you're willing to pay for 100 shares at and receiving a premium each time you do it. And eventually that price will probably get hit if you keep doing it, and then you now own shares of something that you already wanted to own anyways, but you got it for a lower price.
What percentage of the value are you selling each time? Like, how much are you getting as a premium? What percentage are you getting from the whole that you own?
It's usually a small percentage, like 3 to 5% or less.
Wow.
Even.
That's not small in one click.
But
in
it's
one
for
click.
100 shares. See, these are large sums of shares all at once. So the total value of 100 shares is a lot more than what most people are used to dealing with, unless it's a stock that's like pennies or $2.
No,
Right.
but whatever the amount is, if you can get like a 3 to 5% and repeat this operation every month, it's very
Yeah.
good money.
Yeah, it turns out to be like earning a really high dividend. But people get greedy and they start overextending, and then they can't, like, say if you sold a option right now on Apple, let's see, it's sitting at about, what is it, 150 or 60? It's 157 right now, right? So if you sold an option on Apple for, let's say, at a price of 120, then you're still paying $12,000 if that option gets assigned to you, right? You're selling an option of something that's $120 a share, and it's 100 shares, that's $12,000. You're now accountable you have to buy those 100 shares of Apple. If you don't have that amount in your account, you either have to borrow it on margin or something like that. So people see what they can make in options, and then they overextend what they can afford, right? So it's easy to get yourself in trouble if you don't really know what you're doing. But there's also all kinds of option strategies that people use where they'll buy two at this price, and then they'll sell two at another price, and the price has to remain within a certain level for them to make the money. That's all really, I understand how it works, but it's complicated. Instead, just keep buying and holding shares of good businesses, and then if you want to make a little extra, you could sell options, call options on those. But anyway, I didn't want to, that's a lot of stuff about options, but that shouldn't,
Yeah.
I don't think that should be your main way you invest money. It should be a little bit additional on the side. but it can turn out to be a lot.
So whoever's beginning, buy and hold big company stock that has been there like for 20 years, that will be there in 20 years from now, and that give dividends.
Yeah.
Because they'll
There's
be working for
companies,
you for free.
right? Just buy and hold good businesses and invest in them over the long term. It's what Warren Buffett does, one of
There.
the wealthiest people in the world.
Let's learn from the masters who did it. You know?
Yeah, you can. That's the great thing too, is you can do research and find out what other billionaire investors are putting their money into, and you can literally just copy what they're doing, but on a smaller scale because we're not billionaires. And
Yeah. But eventually we will be, you know, if we keep on doing this stuff.
yeah, it takes a long time, but
Well,
it does earn
of
you an
course.
income.
But he's a billionaire now that he's 80 years old. But he
He's,
wasn't a billionaire in the beginning.
yeah, I think he started out as not not from a wealthy family. I don't know what his background is, but he was
You know what I
probably,
know? Warren Buffett still lives in the same house and drives the same car,
yeah,
even if he's a billionaire.
yeah, I think he drives a Cadillac
That's
and lives
being
in,
thrifty, and that's the way you make it. You know?
yeah, yeah,
He doesn't spend and he invests like crazy. That's it. You know
yeah,
what I did for also for motivation a little. I bought shares of the electric company, the main electric company here in Manila called Meralco. So each time I look out of my window, I see all the houses with the lit lights, and I go like, I imagine they have a coin on top, and I just go like,
yeah,
and I say thank you every day. You know, it gets me like hyped.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's utility companies are great. They pay good dividends. It's 3 to 6% usually a year, and
Imagine how much does the bank give you? Nothing.
they're given a little more now because they've raised interest. But over the last few years, it's been like 0.25% interest or 0.5,
Talking
which
interest, that they raised the interest in Spain and the mortgages have like doubled, or like it's like it was 900, then one, and now it's became 1,300 euros for a mortgage of one of the houses, and we're not charging the tenant as much. You know, it's like you cannot raise as fast as the mortgage is raising. You cannot raise the rent that fast.
yeah,
So we're being forced to sell it. You know, that's the sucky part because of the raising interest.
yeah, and interest is another big topic too. Stephen and I have talked about it, but it's another reason why investing is so critical, because your money is not, it's not worth the same tomorrow as it is today. And that's because of the nature of the system.
It's inflationary.
Yeah, inflation is always there, it's consistent, and it's actually been very much worse than normal the past few years because of all the money printing. So, like, from
That's
interest rates,
that's why it's like mandatory to invest. No, it's like everyone should. It's not an option; it's a must that everyone should invest.
yeah,
Because if you don't invest, it's way more expensive.
yeah, people don't realize that the game is set in a way to which if you're not making progress, you're falling behind because of inflation. And historically, it's gone up about 3% a year, which means if you put your money under your mattress, in 10 years from now, it's lost 3% value every year. It's worth less than after 10 years.
And that 3% compounds. It's not a normal 3%. It's bigger.
Yeah.
It grows every year compared to the
Yeah.
original. It's like 4, 5, 6%.
Yeah, and lately inflation's been increasing much worse than that, like 7 or 8%. So
Gasoline 50% here in the Philippines.
yeah,
Like crazy.
so it's one of those things that if you aren't educated and you're not an investor or a banker or something like that, the average person has no idea that their money is constantly losing value because of inflation. So that's where the dividend investments come into play is that they fight against inflation and can outpace inflation even, and have historically done better. If you're investing in these dividend aristocrats and kings, historically they've looked at those as a category, and they've actually outperformed the S&P 500, the 500 largest companies in the U.S. economy. So that's
I was
why
telling
I'm
Stephen he has to get into cash flow dividend. I was convincing him 2 months ago when we met in real life. Like, get into
Yeah,
this.
I'll have to talk to you about getting some or buying some medical stocks.
It's easier than you think. It's
Yeah.
simple. It's simple. You start
Yeah.
small, and then you see how it feels, and then when you get confident, then you put more. But it's easy. It's easy peasy, and it's free. It's free to start. It's like anyone can do it. You start.
Yeah.
You open an account, and in 3 days after, you're on.
Well, which platform are you on?
I do it with BPI Bank, but you can do it BDO or Paul Financial or even Metro Bank has one.
Okay, okay, okay.
It's free to open account.
So yeah, I mean, I got BPI, I got Metro Bank, so
There. So
yeah.
you just go to the bank and ask, I want to open a stock trading account.
So is there like a minimum?
I mean, to start investing,
Yeah.
well, 5,000 pesos.
Okay.
That's $100.
Yeah, that's doable. Yeah.
But
5,000?
it's free to open.
Yeah. That's doable.
Yeah. Yeah, keep in touch with Kuya here, and he can
Yeah.
get you set up on an account. You just want to have an online account where you have access, preferably to the American markets, to these companies.
Well, but you
That's
mentioned
a different story. To buy that's a different kind of. We cannot buy through a normal bank here in the Philippines. We cannot buy American stock.
yeah, but that's
Okay.
okay because we have locals, so that's
Yeah,
okay.
we have. Yeah, and it works also.
Yeah. Yeah, I can allocate all the the rest of the money elsewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Are you familiar with rates? Have you invested in rates? Do you know what they are? I'm sure you are. I guess you know.
what is it called?
Rates. Okay. Real estate investment trust.
Oh, REITs. Yeah, yeah.
REITs. Okay, rates is.
REIT.
We have like 6 of them right now in the Philippines. Are you into that? Have you invested in states in that?
Yeah.
Are they part of
Yeah.
your portfolio?
Yeah.
There.
There's
How frequently do they pay you dividend? The rates. How
Well,
frequent do they pay you over there?
most REITs and stocks are quarterly, but there are some monthly ones. There's
Okay.
one in the U.S. called Realty Income. I haven't started investing in that yet, but it's on my list. And there's a few others, but they pay monthly dividends, and that's another thing that's
Monthly. I love it.
yeah.
That's it. That's
Yeah, 'cause
beautiful.
then-
Monthly.
It compounds faster if you're being paid monthly, because once you're investing in these dividend earning stocks, you automatically can reinvest the dividend into buying more shares.
Yeah.
And that's a way to enhance your dividend earnings over time. And if it's a monthly paying one that you're reinvesting automatically, that basically adds another 1 or 2% to the rate that you're receiving, because it's reinvesting every month, not every 3 months, right? So over a long time, it starts to creep up a little higher than if you were receiving it every 3 months. So there's little strategies like that to enhance the dividend earnings. Yeah.
Here they pay every quarter. The REIT, they pay every quarter, and then the big companies pay annually or twice a year, some, but more on annually. That's the normal.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's a good for me. It's a good recommendation for beginners to go for the REIT because you can see the money coming in faster. So you feel it, you know. So you
Mhm.
feel, oh, it works. Oh, it works. Oh, okay, I got free money. Okay, so now I'll invest again.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good to get that reinforcement to see it because if you see it coming in every month and even if it's only a few cents, it's every month and you're like, wow, if I owned 10 times more shares, I could figure out how much that would be and it's motivating to do. So, yeah,
You know,
it's,
there's a funny bank right now that they have a promo. It's called the C Bank in the Philippines. It's like an app, you know? And it's giving interest daily.
Whoa.
So every day you have a few cents coming in, and then you whoa every day, every day, every day because they
What?
oh
just
yeah,
C Bank, but it's only until the end of the month or something like that. No, it's like a promo. I don't know what their strategy is going to be after, but it's one of these new digital banks that give you high yield interest. Like Finbank is giving a 2.6. For example, ING is leaving the Philippines, but it was also giving like a 2.6. I've been with them for a while. So this is a new one, Bank, and it gives you every day instead of every month, every day.
yeah, that's great.
But I didn't go for it because it's like, huh? Because I control all my money to the cent. I have an accounting program and I input everything. It's like, oh my gosh, that's gonna be so much work to every day. You know? I
Yeah,
have to put how many cents, extra cents, 5 cents. I know. Never mind. Never mind because
yeah,
actually I never have money in my savings account. That's to be true. All the
yeah,
money I get goes directly to pay debt or to invest. You know? So it's like I never have real money a real amount in my savings. So I won't
yeah.
get anyway anything from them
That's
anyway.
that's smart. That's being
It's
smart
a
with your
mental
money.
strategy because I have little self control.
Yeah,
You know, it's like I might buy a PlayStation 5. You know, if I see the money there, I get
yeah.
excited. So
Most,
that's my strategy because I know myself. So whenever it comes in, it goes out every month. Boo boo. Even if I make like tons of money every month, automatically I'm at zero or at a few thousand. Sometimes I even have to ask my girlfriend to treat me for coffee. I don't have because it's dangerous.
yeah. I mean, you have to have a little bit
Yeah,
for
yeah.
living expenses, but
Mhm.
beyond that, if you can automate your savings and investing, that's a smart way to go because your mind will always find something that you want to spend money
Yeah,
on if you
and you'll
are.
justify it. You know,
Yeah, yeah, you
I
can
need
infinitely
it badly
justify it.
because
Yeah, I don't want this. I need it. I need this new game or I need this new
like
shirt or whatever.
new
I need it.
phone.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you don't automate something, it probably won't happen. And
Yeah, I discovered
that's
that habits are the ones that take us like really far, or works for me at least. You know, like my willpower
yeah,
disappears, but the habits
yeah,
stick. You know,
yeah.
so I have a plan to in 3 years I'll be debt free. I got too excited in my youth, and I bought a lot of real estate with mortgages and stuff in Spain. So now I feel the weight of it even if I make money, but sometimes I don't because maybe I lost the tenant, maybe I need to renovate the place, and those months I don't earn, plus I spend, right? What happens if I don't have a salary this month? You know,
And
it gets a little
you used to have a
stressing.
cafe. You used to have a cafe here locally,
For
which
7
you
years,
closed. Yeah.
and dead because
Wow.
of the pandemic.
Hmm.
The pandemic.
Yeah.
Some whistleblower was whistleblowing about the pandemic.
Oh my gosh, you know, COVID didn't kill my business. The government killed my business. It's not
Oh,
COVID, it was the government, you know.
how?
because they told us we cannot receive them. We cannot have patrons having coffee, right?
Oh.
It was
Oh
it was
yeah.
it was closed. It was not allowed to only takeout. Only takeout. I'm not McDonald's. No one orders takeout from me. You know, maybe they're gonna order one coffee a day. You know, like, so we couldn't survive. The landlord wanted his rent, and the staff. Yeah, you cannot even when it was 30%. You could accept 30% of people. You still cannot survive. You cannot make ends meet with them. How much
Yeah.
does a small coffee shop do? Nothing. Even a successful coffee shop makes nothing. It's so hard to make money with a coffee shop. The students would come and stay with one coffee for 4 hours. Come on, how can you make
Yeah.
money out of that?
Starbucks, you know, they just linger there, you know, forever.
They're
That's
big. They're a
But
big ass, and I
that's
patronize
a
them because they're consistent and so. But those are big spaces,
Mhm.
and they can let the people linger for a while. That's okay. But a small place, if you have the let's say 10 tables and they're occupied, you cannot accommodate more people.
Yeah.
It's very
that's
painful.
that reminds me of actually Starbucks is a dividend paying stock as well. Um, I've considered it
I
also.
would buy it because I'm a customer, so I want to have
Yeah.
free coffee. You know, that's it.
Yeah, that's something I've also learned is if you like something, if you like
Buy it.
drinking
Yeah.
Starbucks every day, there's probably, and there are millions of other people who also like it. And it's an addictive drug, you know. It's
Hmm.
something people go back to over and over, just like utility companies. People aren't going to let their power go out, you know, they're not going to let everything go black. Their heat and their air conditioning, they need to pay it every month. These utility companies and industrials like basic material mining companies, they make the steel that makes the building that all the cities and houses that we live in are built out of, you know, basic materials, utilities, and healthcare and real estate. These are all very huge markets that you can buy shares of, just like logging into your account and clicking buy, and it's that simple. It's
And you automatically get a discount in your next coffee bill. You
yeah,
know, because
yeah,
a few cents of that coffee of $1 coffee, a few cents go to you. You know?
yeah. So that's another thing I just wanted to mention real quick about the dividend investing is I got caught up in this idea of looking for the highest dividend yield. And
Hmm.
that's a beginner mistake. So when you do start doing this and you start researching it, Stephen, this mostly for Stephen, it's going to be tempting to look at the dividend yield once you find out what they are. And you'll see big companies like Apple paying like 0.5%, or Microsoft that pays 1%. But you'll see these real estate trusts or these other smaller companies that are paying like 5% or 9% or maybe 15%. You'll be like, oh my God, that's such a great investment. 15% dividends a year.
A year.
And a lot of people get caught up in chasing that yield, right? It's a trap.
It
It
doesn't.
doesn't
It
mean
doesn't mean
it's
next year is going to happen again.
right. So with dividends, like I said, they come out of a company's profits or a real estate trust. It comes out of their profits. So if they're paying 15% yield,
But how much of a profit do they make, right?
they might be paying all or more of their profits to the shareholders, and then that dividend is not going to last. It's going to keep going down. And if you can look at the chart of the price of the investment, you'll see it doing this over time, over
Yeah.
years, going down and down.
So they're not consistent, unlike Apple, Microsoft, and
Right.
yeah, the utilities companies.
Yeah, you want to invest. That's why this strategy of dividend investing in the
patient.
aristocrats and the kings is so effective is because these are companies that have already proven that they can pay a dividend long term, and they can not just pay the same dividend. They're paying more this year, a little more next year. Every year it's going up, which means your payout that you receive is also going up, depending on how many shares you have. So that's why chasing high yields is not a good long-term strategy, because you have to look at what you're investing in. If your overall investment is going down in value for that high yield, then that means they're paying out their earnings in dividends, yet the shares of what you own is losing value over time. But you don't want to receive a high dividend and have your value of your investment going down. You want the value of the investment steadily rising and just receiving a small extra dividend on top of that, right?
Yeah.
That's what's going to earn you more over time.
So
Consistently.
the lesson is don't be too greedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't chase the high yield, because it's usually a trap.
But can somebody do that for just a year or so, and then retrieve the money, retract?
You can, but then you're talking about selling and then reinvesting in something else. There's a saying in
not what we're
investing.
endorsing. No buy and sell.
Yeah.
No to buy and sell.
Because
No.
you're chasing a high dividend stock.
You might get lucky and get more out of it over that year.
You don't know. You don't know if it's gonna pay again. The same
No,
amount.
so you do it just for 1 year.
But that's like playing the lottery.
There's a saying about that.
In 1 year, in 1 year it could go down.
Yeah.
You could
Remember,
lose money.
Stephen, time in the market beats timing the market.
I like that. Timing the market beats timing the market.
Yeah.
Time in the market, not timing the market.
Yeah. Okay.
Which means long-term buying and just the hardest thing, it's hard to believe, but the hardest thing is to buy things and not do anything. Right? It's easy.
You're just like hoarding it, right?
Yeah, you're just slowly accumulating over time. Something that's a good long-term
Stable
business.
Yeah.
Stable business.
It's a proven strategy
Mm-hmm.
that consistently buying beats timing the market any day of the week.
Yeah.
You cannot time the market. Even the experts tell you they know what the stock is going to do. It's a lie.
Yeah.
They're
They
just
use
selling you a
fear.
book. They're just selling you a course. No one can really predict the market. Even the experts, the super experts fail. They're very. I would say there might be a very few humans in the planet who can really predict what's gonna happen. The rest,
Yeah.
they just feel they know what they're doing. This is when you have to buy. This is when you have to. But they fail the whole time. It's like the weatherman.
Yeah. If you invest in good businesses over time, just ignore the news, ignore the ups and downs, just consistently keep on, what they call that is you're building your position. You're building your position over time, longer, more and more shares. And those are just increasing your quarterly dividends or maybe monthly.
Yeah. Since you're thinking of buying something and selling, like investing for 1 year only, I would say no to the stock market. That's not the place for you. If you need your money 1 year after, the stock market is not the place to put your money. You know where you have to put your money? In a high yield savings account, where it's safe. Or a 1 year deposit in the bank.
Time deposit.
A time deposit for 1 year. If you're gonna need to pull your money out, those are the places, not the stock market. The stock market could go down for the next 5 years.
Only invest money that you can afford to lose. If it's going to affect your lifestyle, if it's going to affect you buying food or paying your rent,
Don't do
you
it.
shouldn't be using it to invest in.
Don't gamble,
It's what
right?
it's what you can afford to lose, which means budgeting yourself is critical to that, right? If you can't budget your finances, you have nothing that you can spend on stocks because all of it will affect your lifestyle, right? If you live within your means, you live frugally, you live smart, and that gives you a little bit, even if it's only 3% of your salary each month or 1%, that still gives you that little bit you can put away that starts working for
More.
you.
10% minimum. 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
10%
if you
minimum.
can do that. But if you have kids and you have a wife,
Oh
you can't always control that,
Yes, you
but you
can. Yes, you can.
you can work
Effort.
towards it. But
Less chocolate. Less beers and less partying. Less gifts. Maybe,
Yeah,
if you're living paycheck to paycheck, if you're living and you never have savings, that means only one thing. You're living above your means.
yeah,
You should be able to
I would
invest
agree.
every month, yes or yes. If you don't, if you're not able, that means you're living above your means. So you're trying to match the neighbor. You're trying to give the same kind of gift and same iPhone to your daughter.
Yeah,
But that's wrong. That's very irresponsible of you.
yeah,
Because if instead of giving her an iPhone, you gave her a $25 phone, and then you invested that in Apple stock, right? In 10 years, you'll buy her all the iPhones she wants for her and for all her friends.
yeah.
So
Which is
that's
a good lesson before you invest is get rid of all debt because that's draining your income, right? That's a liability. You want to get rid of liabilities and start putting that money into assets, right? Wealth building assets, which are what dividend investments are. So it's easier said than done, but it can be done.
that. Another trick I have. I'm very loud in social media, and I publish all my strategies and goals and commitments. So people will hold me accountable. It's like I said it. I have a big mouth. I say, I
Yeah.
say, I say.
Yeah. It
So
has to
now I have to
happen.
do it.
Yeah. It has to
Because if,
happen.
because if I don't
Yeah,
do it, people are going to say, you're full of bullshit. Right? And I don't want people to say that.
You're a
So,
fraud.
yeah,
right? So I have to follow through. I'm making myself accountable in
Yeah.
public. It, it holds me account. It works for me. For me, it works because
yeah,
it's like if I do it, if I don't tell anyone, if it's only for myself, oh no, no, no. If it's only for myself, I might not do my exercise, eat my proper diet, everything. But if I'm posting about it, I'm saying, oh look, I'm eating properly. I'm doing my push-up, and then that's the trick I do. Public accountability for all my goals, and I
yeah,
have to post the progress the whole time, so people see I'm doing it. But if
Nice.
not,
yeah. I would also, if you're talking to people publicly about it, I would always say that you're not giving accounting advice. This is for informational purposes only.
entertainment purposes, I'm not a financial advisor.
Yeah, preface it
I
with,
will add, be an adult, make your own decisions. Don't do it.
yeah,
Think,
I would
don't blame me. Don't blame me later
yeah,
for what happened.
just encourage people to do their own research because if they're just relying on other people, then they'll probably make mistakes over time when they don't really know what they're doing. They're just following instructions.
Yeah. What they should do is listen to what people are saying and then verify for themselves. Right?
But
Yeah.
I would say
And research
listen
more.
from people who have done it.
Yeah,
People who have proof that they already achieved what you want to achieve. Those people are interesting to listen to. That's from the Richest Man in Babylon book. You don't listen. You don't take building advice from the baker, because the baker
yeah,
also has an opinion. Everyone has an opinion, but not all opinions are valid.
Yeah.
That's something from political correctness that everyone has an opinion and we should listen to everyone's opinion. No, no. You should not listen to an opinion of my tito talking about healthy living when he has a giant stomach and he's drinking beer every day. No, that's not healthy living. I should not. His advice is worth nothing. Actually, it damages me if I listen to his advice. You know, so you listen to who? Okay, not a salesman who talks about stock. Or not. Look, many people decide what condo to buy from the salesman who's giving flyers at 5 p.m. in the street. That guy knows nothing about investing. That guy is a salesman, right? Who do you want to learn real estate investing from? From someone who's a real estate investor, not from a real estate agent. Same thing happens with the mutual fund. They keep on selling mutual funds. You have to do this because look at blah, 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 blah. That guy is not rich. That guy is a salesman who doesn't have your best interest at heart. He only has his own commission at heart. In general, don't tell me not everyone. Okay, fine. In general, this is what happens. A salesman wants his commission. But most people are listening to the financial advisor as the pinnacle of getting rich, but no, that guy is not rich himself.
Yeah.
But most people listen to him, right? Or the real estate agent.
Yeah, because they don't know much themselves, so they're taking advice from someone they think has their interest at heart and knows more than
there's a feeling that person knows.
Yeah.
But the results don't, I have my best friend here in the Philippines. He's a Chinese medicine doctor, and he gives me advice about natural stuff, and I follow him for when I get sick. I take a potion or whatever. Okay, and it works for me. But now, since he knows I'm bodybuilding and he knows about muscles and food, he's giving me advice about this, and he's my best friend. But I tell him, sorry, you are fat. You're fat. So I listen to you for certain things, but I'm not going to listen to you for bodybuilding because your body is not built. Your system, your diet, the one you're preaching to me every time we meet every week, it's not working because look at your stomach. It's not good. I told you that. That's it.
Yeah, don't take fitness advice from a fat guy.
Because we all have opinions about everything under the sun. And my wife has opinions, and my kids have. I don't have no wife nor kids, but everyone, my neighbor has opinions. Even the priests have opinions of how a marriage should go and how sex life should go, but they're not married and they don't have sex life. How can people ask for relationship advice from a priest? Tell me about that. That doesn't make sense.
My barber gave me advice on what cryptocurrency to buy.
Boom. And that's the moment you should run away from cryptocurrency because everyone's talking about it. That's dangerous already.
Yeah.
But how long have you been investing in crypto, Cliff? For?
I bought some Bitcoin for
when? Years ago? Recent?
I think it was about 3 years ago.
You're up.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't recommend it for new investors, but it has over time increased in value. But it's gone recently from 68,000 to right now at about 21. So
it's the best time to buy it now, right? Now's the best time to buy because it's cheap.
I would just.
How do you know it's not going to keep on going down?
No, you just buy some amount.
It's a new asset class. I would not put a large percentage of your investment money into it. Stick with dividend earning stocks, and maybe put 1 or 2% of what you can afford to invest.
So I bought 1,000 pesos worth of Bitcoin, and then like a few days ago it went down to 900 something. The highest it went was maybe 130 something. So now it's at 1,053 and then 22 cents. So yeah, I'm just
Yeah,
observing
like
it.
Okay, fine, but call it what it is.
Yeah.
That's not investing.
Yeah.
That's gambling.
Well,
it's it's a new investment class. So it may grow over the long term, but it doesn't have a long
Or not,
history of
but
growth.
if
right?
it also depends on how much you've invested in it. You know.
No, if it's play money, okay. If it if it's a very small percentage as forward
Yeah.
paying,
Mm.
fine.
Yeah,
You
and
can.
it's
I
money you
will
can
also bless
lose.
you if you go to the casino and you spend a small part of your money and you have fun. That's fine too. If it's a small part of your
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just observing it for now because I don't have really time to delve into it. You know, and it's the same thing for dividends. And,
Yeah. It's kind of like investing in a stock that pays no dividends. It has to go up in value, and then you have to sell to see any profits
yeah,
from it.
yeah,
Dividend investing pays you consistently, and you can reinvest that money into buying more shares of that particular stock. And that's the value of it over the long run.
Can you so is there like a uh, option in your alco stocks? Like
In what?
can you sell put options? Can you have
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, I mean I'm asking Kuya here if he does that too, like
I don't trade options. I only buy stock.
okay, okay.
Yeah, options are definitely not for a new investor. Just buy and hold solid companies and don't sell them. And you can learn that stuff later,
Yeah.
but it can be very profitable if you know how to
You
do
just
it.
have to like he says, like you plan on doing, like really buy a good computer which you already have, and focus on it like the whole day.
Yeah.
'Cause you re-
In fact, you can even invest in ETFs, which I don't know if they have those there, but an ETF is just a fund where they take a whole basket of different stocks and put it into one symbol, one asset, and then you buy shares of that, just like you would a stock. It's like a mutual fund. You've heard of that, right?
We have mutual funds. We have many.
Yeah.
I've invested in some like three mutual funds. So
Those are attractive to newer investors, but also long-term investors because they're stable and
but
they're very
I'm planning
diversified.
on like retracting two of those three because I've observed only one to be stable. So
They
Yeah.
don't give dividends.
they
That's the
don't,
thing.
but you just keep it there, and maybe in
How
cash.
okay? How do you think the insurance company, the mutual fund company, makes money?
It's
That
they
Fees.
have
they
stocks,
have
right?
beautiful buildings. They have a lot of staff, right, and directors. They're big time companies. How do you think they make money?
They invest in the stock market.
They make money from
They
you.
they
A lot of
trade.
it is fees.
You're the customer.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah. But see, if
They're
you open
getting
a
a,
trading account and you
they're
can
getting
buy
big cuts.
ETFs, what's that? What was that?
Big cuts. What did you say?
they get they get their commissions
Oh,
from
okay.
you, from your investment, from your money.
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
They
See,
don't pay
if
you dividends, so they
ah,
keep all the dividends for themselves.
oh, I see.
And you could be
sometimes,
collecting all those.
yeah, I'm not sure if you guys have access to ETFs over there, but if you can, there are ETFs that pay dividends as well, like 3% or maybe less. But remember, the average in the US is 1.5% for dividend stocks. But there are some ETFs that pay even more than that. And the reason why people like that is because they're consistent, they're stable, because they're made up of dozens or hundreds of different stocks. So not one stock can make the price go way down. And so it gives them that stability. But they also do have small fees, so you want to find the ones that have a small maintenance fee because they're managed.
The REITs in the Philippines are giving like 5-6%.
Wow.
They're very
Yeah.
good,
Yeah, it's good.
and that's what you would make if you bought a condo yourself and rented it. There are also the real estate investors are getting a 6% also. So you can have the same returns without the headache of painting the house and fixing the pipes and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was another thing I was going to say is I see investing with your own account as the best business you can own. And I think of it like a business. Because over time you can start to earn an income from it, but it has none of the drawbacks of a traditional business. Like you owned a coffee shop, right?
That was
So
a
you have to-
24/7 job.
Yeah, you have that. It takes up so much of your time. If you have employees, you got to deal with employees and insurance.
A
You
headache.
have suppliers, you have,
The government.
COVID-19 could come and knock you out. All
Yep.
these things could happen. If you own an account where you're investing in, there's none of that.
Yeah.
But you have to build up that income. You're not just gonna start earning what you would make from a coffee shop the first month. It's just a slow build-up process. It takes more time, but it has none of the drawbacks. You
Yeah,
don't have
but
high overhead.
Who won the race? The turtle won.
What's that?
The turtle
Oh,
won the
yeah,
race, right?
The turtle beats the
Slowly.
hare.
Yeah. Don't try. For me, that's the best analogy for investing. You want to go fast, then you'll get tired, you'll sleep, or you're going to crash against a tree, right? If you go slowly, you know you're going to get to the end. It will take longer, but you know you're going to get to the end. So
Yeah.
for me, at this age, which I won't reveal, I prefer safety. You know, I really appreciate the safety of it, and I know I'm gonna be a millionaire for sure. I have no doubt. I have my metrics, and I'm hitting every checkpoint. But it's slow. You just need the patience. But the beauty, in case someone listens and everything, is like it looks small at the beginning. Okay, year one, it sounds small. A 4%. It's not, you know, if I put $100, I only get $4. It's small. Those $100 are gonna keep on paying you for all your life, and the 4% next year, in the long term, it's gonna be growing. It will become 5, 6, 7, 8% every year, without putting more money, without doing any effort, no sweat, zero effort. That money is gonna pay you more every year, without and forever until you die. So it's a beautiful system. It's like a miracle, you know. And it's legal, and there's no risk. If you diversify, it's not risky. If you buy big company, if you buy a small company in the corner, no, that's risky. But if you buy the big whales, the blue chip they call them, it's safe. And you will make money. And you will, okay, so you get an idea, your money will double every 9 years in the stock market. Buying dividend cash stock.
Yeah.
Average, yeah? An average every 9 years, your money is doubling. So it's not small. And since you're not working, okay, this is not a job, this is not a business. It's an investment that it's totally passive. It doesn't require any effort or even attention. You don't need to look at the screen. You don't need to take a decision. You buy it and you sleep.
Yeah.
What did Warren Buffett said? He said, if you want to get rich, figure out how to make money while you're sleeping. Yeah, and it's possible, and it's legal. So if they make it, why can't we make it, right? So it's the same. Just imitate, emulate your idols, do the same things they do, and eventually you're gonna get same results, similar results, right? In whatever,
Yeah.
even as a musician, no, right? Even, right? If you start doing the same lessons and the same movements, you're gonna hit the same notes. You're gonna get the same results. If you market yourself in a similar way, if you do everything the same as Lenny Kravitz does, you're gonna get somewhat similar results. You know, you can find it. You put the same makeup, you dress the same, right? Something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess we have like 14 minutes or so to tackle something different. Because this is
Very happy. This is a very interesting
yeah.
happening.
There's so much more to talk about regarding investing and stuff. So we're
Yeah.
hoping to that you could join us next Sunday again to discuss this. Because we can cover everything in just one sitting, right?
Yeah.
So because I might have like more questions and new questions next time. And so in this pursuit of I don't know, a better life, maybe in the same socioeconomic setup, you know i- we cannot always be certain about things. There's no certitude here. There may be degrees of certitude, but we're not always at 100%, right? But when we say we'll get there, we'll get to the finish line 100%. But but that kind of future is far away, right? So we can only talk about now. So how sure are you that we can get there? So we cannot say I 30% sure or what, but we can only talk about things like for now I have this much in investments in stocks, and so because those things are solid facts, right? So we can't speak about the future in terms of the finish line, how much.
But okay, yes, okay, fine. I know what you're saying. But if I take 10 steps towards the door, I'm gonna get out.
Sure.
Okay. If I have a goal and I have a plan and the plan's correct and I follow the steps, it will take me 5 minutes or 10 years. But one day, if I follow the steps, I'm getting out of the door.
Yes. So you can only be sure after 10 steps you've made 10 steps, right?
I can take one step and check if I'm correct. I can take another
Yeah,
step and,
so
and
you
check
go one step at a time and evaluate.
and measure it.
Yeah. Yeah. So since you belong to the atheistic group, and Clifton here belongs to the agnostic side of things.
Good to know.
So, but there are two types of agnosticism. One is maybe in terms of God. There's agnostic atheism, and agnostic theism.
Hmm.
So which one are you, Clifton? Are you an agnostic atheist or agnostic theist?
Um, I don't think about it much, but I would say agnostic atheist.
Mm-hmm.
I I'm a science-minded person who uses evidence to determine my actions, and if something has no precedent and doesn't have evidence, then I assume it doesn't exist until proven otherwise. And that's how I approach the concept. And so far, I see no evidence to believe in any kind of God. But who knows? Maybe there is one, and we can't know for sure
If he
that there's
appears in
not.
your kitchen, you'll believe, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I can be turned at any moment. Just show me some evidence.
So before we believe in something, like we have to know the qualities of that thing or a concept. Like Like God, for instance. What is it? How do we describe God?
It can be described in many ways, but most people describe it as a all-knowing, all-powerful entity that supposedly loves us and has been very shy and doesn't want to ever show any evidence of them existing,
He's shy.
as if we're being tested for our whole lives. And that's where the word faith comes in. Faith is, you can define faith as um, a conviction in something despite a lack of evidence. That's what faith is. You have a conviction despite having a lack of evidence. That's why you need faith, right? By definition.
How would you put that into words, Kuya? Or how would you describe your position?
Uh, we do have faith in a daily life. We have faith that the aspirin is going to cure our whatever migraine. We don't even know what's inside an aspirin, but we believe. We also have faith that the waiter didn't spit on my coffee and didn't poison me, and he served the coffee, and I believe he put the whatever correct ingredient. I'm not checking. I'm not watching him. So we do exercise faith on a daily basis.
On in different degrees and different
Yeah.
kinds.
Because we
I would
cannot
say-
be checking everything. No? We
I
just
would say-
believe. We decide to trust people
Yeah.
that we don't really know if what they say is true. No?
Yeah.
So
Faith
going
should be
there because
something-
I believe in aliens.
You believe in aliens?
I believe in aliens. So did I see one? No, I didn't. But there's a lot of people who claim they saw and they were abducted. And some I look at the interviews, some look very crazy, but some I look at their eyes and some seem to be saying the truth and I believe them. You know, and it makes sense for me to believe there are other beings in the world and seeing the pyramids and seeing all those things, all the mysteries that have like drawings of space people. You know,
So can we say that before substantial and solid evidence is produced, that we can only have what we have is just an opinion?
opinion. I mean, I'm not sure about anything in my life. Zero. I'm not sure about anything. Everything could be a perception. You could be in my dreams right now. How do I know?
Wow.
Right?
So
I
you're
think
not.
we're living inside the matrix, actually. Okay, this is true. I really believe it. I think we're living inside the matrix, and some of us can see through the cracks. And my mission is to pull people out.
What do you think,
So-
Cliff? Are we in the Matrix?
So does that mean you're the one?
I'm one of them. I'm one of the chosen ones. Yeah.
No, you're the one.
You're the one.
I'm the look. Can you see my ring? I don't know if you can see
Yeah,
it.
yeah. That's what is it?
1%. I'm part of the
Oh,
1%.
1%ers.
There
You're
you go.
claiming it already.
Huh?
He's
You're claiming
Neo.
it. Claiming it. He's claiming
Yeah.
the wealthy life.
Yeah, wealthy and the smart and the muscles and the fame and everything.
I'm gonna show you something here and see what you think. Okay. I'm gonna share screen share something. So. Wait. What am I doing? Oh, wait. Where's that? Oh,
Don't share
here.
porn. They're gonna ban you YouTube.
No. Okay, where is it now? Here. Okay. So this is a picture of a famous figure, person. Sorry, my machine is slow, but can you see it?
Yeah,
Yep.
What does it say?
I have approximate answers and possible beliefs and different degrees of certainty about different things, but I'm not absolutely sure about anything. Yeah, Richard Finite. I
That's
don't
a
know
good
who he is,
quote.
but I agree.
You agree? You guys agree? Both of you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's analyze what he's saying here. So say for example, oh, so he's basically saying that different level. He says different levels of certainty. Like he can be almost 100% sure at best, almost 100% sure at best about anything or everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What he's saying that is kind of the basis of scientific thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And it states that science is a way of learning what is more and less likely about anything in the universe. It lowers the chances of being wrong about something, but is never certain because there's always room for a theory to be revised or
Disproved.
rewritten or disproved.
I wish more atheists thought that way, because here in the atheist group, they take, sometimes they're taking science as the absolute out there,
Mm-hmm.
Science keep on correcting itself the whole time. So there's no absolute truth. But some are like claiming it the whole time. No,
Or
because there's this theory, this theory.
yeah,
No,
or in the first in the first place, somebody.
Are we
hello?
frozen?
Oh
I
no.
think Steven's frozen. This happens sometimes.
Yeah. Especially over here, it happens a lot.
Internet connection. Yeah.
We get also a lot of brownouts here. They call it brownouts, or it should be blackout, but the brownouts, because it's more
Brown.
temporary. It lasts like a few minutes and then it comes
yeah.
back. Yeah. We still live in a third world country, despite everything. Now they say it's not correct to call ourselves third world anymore. We are underdeveloped country or developing country.
A developing
economy.
country, they say. Yeah, that's the politically correct way to say it, I think.
Recording
Unless they've updated it to something new.
Yeah. You got that. So you're friends with Stephen for a long time?
I've never met him in person, but I got in touch with Stephen, or he got in touch with me because I support the Venus Project. I'm a volunteer. And he asked me a couple of years ago if I wanted to join his web stream and talk about it. And it's something that he's also interested in and supports about the works of Jacques Fresco, and wanted someone who has a little more knowledge about it to come on and talk once a week. So that's what I've been doing.
So are you a regular in the weekly meetings?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty regular.
Because I always see the invite and I never really okay. So I said, okay, let's go. I know Stephen from real life, from singing, from he plays the guitar, I sing, and yeah. So,
hey guys,
oh there! Welcome back to the world of the living.
So my computer froze, so I'm on my phone right now. I don't know if you heard me say something about flat earthers.
No.
That's an interesting one.
so like moving on, I said a flat earther would say with 100% certainty that the earth is flat, right? Yeah. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yes. So when it comes to the earth's shape and other finite details, for example, is Feynman only like almost 100% sure about the Earth's shape?
He would probably say he's 99.999% sure the Earth is a roundish thing, because he's seen so much evidence from different places, and there's so many tests you can do that it's virtually impossible for it to be flat.
So there is a possibility that like a 0.001 or maybe less possibility, 0.001% possibility that the Earth is flat?
Maybe a 0.0 to the 30th degree chance. Yeah.
Why not? People believe something as the truth for many years, and it turned around. You know, things happen like that the whole time, and then they'll find the explanation. Oh yes, we were wrong in this calculation. You know, but why not? It could be. I believe that people didn't even go to the moon. How about that? Yeah, it's all fake. They could have.
Yeah.
They say Neil deGrasse Tyson. He said that people don't go out to space. We just stay in the orbit the whole time. So all the astronauts that are shooting pictures here and there, they never went to outer space. But that's what we've believed for years and years and years, that astronauts go there somewhere to Jupiter or something, you know, and they're floating. But they're just in the orbit the whole time.
Would you say that Neil Armstrong and the rest didn't really land on the moon?
I'd say there's a very high probability that they did, yes. But do we actually know for sure? According to the scientific method and what Richard Feynman here is saying, we can't be sure, but having approximate answers and possible beliefs and different degrees of certainty about different things. The degree of certainty is what you have to quantify. What degree of certainty do you have?
Yes.
To back up your conviction. So like
my degree is small. Why? Because the only way we learned that they landed in the moon is from the news in the TV. And my experience shows me that the news and the TV are lying to us the whole time. Because they're not in the business of giving the truth. They're in the business of selling advertising.
Making money,
yeah.
Because they have to survival, so they have to eat.
Yeah, it's their business, and fine. But if they lied to me before, why wouldn't they be lying to me now?
Maybe they don't lie all the time.
Sometimes only. So if that's the case, they lie sometimes. I can never believe them.
Or they lie most of the time.
Because I won't know which is the right time and the wrong time.
Yeah.
So if I want to know the truth or approximate the truth, I should never listen to the news. I should go through some independent sources that don't receive money to say something and evaluate from there. From people who don't receive money to declare something.
But going back to the Earth's shape,
why not?
Definitely, it's not flat. That it doesn't have an edge like where you can fall over, right?
How do you know? Have you been? Have you been to the edge? Have you been to Antarctica?
There's no edge. Like it's
how do you know?
Curved.
How do you know?
You have a picture of it in space. The Earth is round.
That could be I can give you a picture of a dinosaur giving me a blowjob. Will you believe that?
No, but that would be a funny picture.
You can get a picture of anything you want.
Okay,
so
how about the shape of the moon? Is it really it's not really spherical. What do you call it? It's I forget the term.
It's an oblate spherical shape.
It's something like
I don't know the exact term.
Almost spherical, but for sure, 100% sure not flat, right?
It's roundish. It's very
How do you
round.
know it's round? How do you know it's round? By the pictures of the astronauts?
So
See,
we can say.
The
So
moon we
we
can
say
see
then,
with our own eyes.
yeah. So can we say then that the flat earthers are not 100% wrong?
Yes, absolutely. Because we determine we cannot know the real truth.
Mm-hmm. Because
I-
before we forget, we always rely on our sense perception or the senses, right? And when while we say things are illusory, it doesn't mean that they're not real. The illusions are real and illusions are made up of substance itself, right? It's just that that substance appears differently at different levels of magnification, right? So when I'm too close to the ground, like I'm also short, then like the ground would seem very flat to me, right? But if I distance myself farther and farther away from the ground, then the ground or the earth will become more visibly round to me, right?
But I mean, I've been in a plane and I don't see it's round.
Well, you have the horizon there. You can see the horizon's curved.
I don't see it's curved.
You don't?
Okay. It's
No.
something that our senses are not built to perceive in terms of the earth being flat around. Our eyes are not suited to determine that. So we have to look for other evidence of the earth's shape, right? So let's say you're a flat earth believer, or you believe the earth is flat. How do you know if that's true or not? You have to use other critical thinking tools to determine that. One thing you could look at is, okay, on a very practical level, if the earth is flat, then other things in the solar system would probably be flat too, right? Or else the earth would be an anomaly, correct?
Yeah. Like the moon would be flat, like would have an edge.
So yeah, so then what other celestial bodies can we look at to determine if the earth is unique or if it's like other ones? And that would be, okay, we've got the moon. What is the moon? You got, in certain times you can look through the clouds and see the shape of the sun itself.
Yeah.
You can look through telescopes and see other planets. And those all appear to be round, right?
Well, I don't know. They look like a disc to me.
Right.
Flat,
Okay.
like
So if you have a
two-dimensional.
disc has a round side and then it has a flat side, right?
Yeah.
So then that would mean we'd have to be looking at these things only from one direction all the time for them to appear round if they're a disc, right? Which means, okay, then you got to assess what are the chances of the Earth always being in a position to where everything we see in terms of celestial bodies is always at the exact same angle. What are the chances of that as opposed to the chances?
We're back to the olden times where when people thought that the celestial bodies revolved around the earth because the sun always maybe appeared disc-like or the moon appeared disc-like and it just revolved around the earth. So people from the earth would always see a circular celestial body.
If I get my fish tank and I put a tape around it that moves, my fish will think that the stars are moving and all that. But it's just a piece of tape that I put in a belt, right? And it's moving around.
Yeah. Okay, so
that could be our case.
So you're not convinced by the idea that other celestial bodies appear to be round, right?
It could be a picture.
Okay.
It could be a optical illusion.
Okay. Here's another one. A few years ago, we witnessed an eclipse. With my own eyes, I looked in the sky and I saw a shadow going over the sun. right? It passed right over the sun. It was also round. Why would that be?
Yeah, there's two round things covering each other.
So if Earth was flat, then wouldn't it have projected a flat shadow?
It would project a flat shadow. What, the moon would project a flat shadow on the Earth?
No, the sun had a shadow that appeared in front of it.
Yeah,
So yeah, there's a
that's the
solar.
moon, right?
there's a
That's
sol-
supposed to
there's a
be the moon.
solar eclipse. So the moon then is just
Right.
round. And if the Earth were in between the moon and the sun, then the Earth would cover the moon. But the moon is too small for the Earth to really project a small shadow on the moon. So
There are times when the Earth's shadow is projected onto the moon
yeah, and it's also curved.
and it appears round.
Yeah.
So that's evidence that the Earth is round also, right?
I don't know.
That doesn't come from the news. It doesn't come from anywhere else. We're seeing it with our own eyes. The moon, and then a shadow going in front of it.
What's the shadow? Shadow's the moon, right? The moon is the shadow.
Either the moon shadow
No,
or the
there's-
Earth shadow.
Okay, there's the sun here. There's the moon here, and then Earth is in between them.
Okay,
And the
okay.
Earth is casting a shadow onto the moon. And the shape of that shadow is round.
You mean that's why it's like the growing moon and the new moon? Are you talking about that?
No, when you witness an eclipse.
An eclipse? I thought the moon was in the middle of the
Yeah,
Earth
it
and
could
the
happen
sun.
like that too. It could happen like that
Yeah,
too.
that happens too.
Yeah,
can
and
happen.
so the shadow of the moon on the Earth is also round.
Like a disc.
Yes. Or oblate or oblong when when they're not really aligned perfectly.
So in order for it to always appear on the broad side of a disc, things would always have to be stationary and from the same exact angle, regardless of where you're looking at it from. They'd have to be in sync, always on the broad side in order for that to happen. So to me, the chances of that are very small.
It's harder to think. I agree. I agree with that. It's harder to think, but it could be. I don't know. I haven't been there.
Okay. Here's another one. We have goods and products that are shipped across the world every day on big ships. They go in one direction and they appear in one place, and they go in the other direction and they appear in the same place. How's that possible?
Maybe it's like when you get a paper and you make like a cone with the paper. If you
So
get
somehow they're joined if they're going different directions and then they arrive at the same place, right?
yeah, like it's a tube,
Mm-hmm.
and we're around the tube. The map is all around the tube. Like you print the map in a piece of paper and then you unite the edges.
Okay, but the tube is round in order for that to
It's
happen.
still curved, right?
Yeah, it's a tube. It's not a ball. It's a tube.
So the Earth is a tube.
So in at least one direction, you're saying it has to be round.
Yeah.
At least one direction.
Actually, I saw a map from the flat earthers. It's not plain. It's a circle. It's like a disc, and like the Antarctica and North Pole are the white part, the yellow, the ice part are around. That's the limits, and the world is inside. So they draw the world in some way that's inside that circle.
Okay.
So it's a circle. It's a circle, but it's flat, according to them. I'm not a flat earther or anything. I'm just being a little devil advocate now or something. But it's defendable. It is defendable.
Well, there's there's like I said, a 0.00 to maybe the 30th
Could be, yes.
degree that the Earth is flat. But based on the evidence we can see and practical reasoning, it's very round. It's very much
So
round.
we need, I think we need to get back to the drawing board and rethink our definitions. Like, what do we mean by flat? Is it like perfectly flat? And
Flat, but flat, a disc is flat.
yes, or
It's round,
Yeah, it's
round
like-
and flat, or it's
Yeah,
round and flat at the same time.
perfectly flat. But if you're
And round.
talking about a disc with a certain width, then you know that's three-dimensional, but it's just very thin on the side.
Well, yeah, like
So-
a weight, yeah, like a round tire, like a tire. Yeah, maybe it's like that.
maybe it's something like that. But see, like mathematical concepts are like a disc or a circle. It's just doesn't have like two dimensions. Or well, you know, it has a height or no, but you know, concepts like flat, really flat, they don't exist in nature. Or perfectly curved things don't exist in
Yeah,
nature.
flat as a paper. A paper is a 3D flat object.
Yeah, I mean like 2D, like yeah, 3D actually, yeah. But like a plane figure, like a mathematical concept like that is just two-dimensional, like a triangle or a square. A circle
Yeah,
is a weird
But
kind.
it could never be totally flat, because how could we exist? Because we stand on the earth, right? And we're 3D. We're standing on the flat earth. So
when we're talking,
it's not
when-
really flat in 2D.
Yeah.
It's flat.
So
It's flat
when
in
we're-
3D sense. So it's a
Yes,
little
when-
flat.
if we are talking about the surface of the ground or the surface of the earth being like perfectly flat, maybe or flat, then of course it doesn't exist also, unless we say it's rough, it's not really smooth, the surface is not really smooth, but somehow you know it's kind of it's flat or something like that. But we know for sure that the earth is not flat, or not, or is neither perfectly flat or almost flat, you know.
It's not 2D. Not 2D.
Yes. So I mean, like if we were dealing with finite things like entities, then that entity will have finite qualities, and finite qualities we can be sure of 100%. Okay, so in terms of maybe a tennis ball, shall we say, if we could isolate it from the rest of the world, then we have an entity, then we can be sure of it, because we can be sure of its density or volume and all that stuff, or weight, the amount of substance it has, you know, because it's free of friction, right? Or it's as small as that. So when it comes to the earth, I think it's not too big of a celestial body, and maybe if we could get, you know, far enough from the earth and really see, like move around it to verify that it's really, you know, it's not flat, it's really round, and no, it's, and so maybe in that sense we can be 100% sure if we had like entities in our hands, or not in our hands, like if we were looking at entities, or we're dealing with entities, but you know, see, in the real world there are no such things as entities, right?
If I hold the ball, I can see it's round because I can hold it, right?
Yeah, like even if you're holding it, you can maybe say in a manner of speaking that you know, you're 100% sure it's round and it's a ball, according to what we know of as a ball.
Mm.
So Okay, which so okay, is Feynman saying that we cannot be sure that the tennis ball is a tennis ball?
My gosh, this is thin air. uh, I would be sure that it's a pero if you someone who can say no, that's not a tennis ball because in my country we call that potato ball. You know,
Okay.
okay, so you know it. Okay, so fine. It for you, it's a potato ball. For me, it will be a tennis ball,
Okay. All
right?
right. All right. So if
Because
we're
he
talking,
defines a tennis ball in a different way.
okay.
So
All
at
right.
the end, it's about the definition and the semantic of it or something. No.
Yeah. Okay. So how about if we're talking about equilateral triangle of a 5 centimeter side, a 5 centimeter equilateral triangle?
I would say it looks real, and I can be sure of it. But yeah,
If you were
no.
made to draw, if you were made to draw a triangle like that, then you will have to draw a 5 centimeter equilateral triangle. And it's, it has to be a 5 centimeter on each, a 5 centimeters on each side, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then now, if you're able to do that, to draw it, then we're sure that it's really that triangle with a 5 centimeter side, right? So now we are 100% sure
That it's a triangle.
of that dimension, with that dimension.
We're sure of what? Of 5 centimeters?
Yes, and it's a equilateral triangle.
What if your ruler was wrong? You bought it in a cheap Chinese place. Oh no! Oh, what did I say? That's racist. You bought it in, it's not a perfect.
I'm
Yeah,
offended.
there's there's a margin of error could be there that it's not a perfect ruler.
Okay. But conceptually, we know what it is, what we're referring to as a triangle with a 5 centimeter side, conceptually, right?
Yeah, sige, I'll give you that. Why not? Yes.
Yeah. But in the actual, we cannot possibly come up with a circle a triangle like that.
We cannot make a perfect triangle in real life
Yeah.
because we're not robots.
No, even robots, if they slice a piece of metal, a sheet of metal into a perfectly shaped triangle, like an equilateral triangle, would you say that the measurements all around will be perfect?
Yeah, maybe rough on the edges. Maybe not.
Yeah. So what does he really mean by this? So if we can't be 100% sure, what does he really mean by that?
What he's saying is that we cannot be sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
So
cannot be sure.
are there only average values in real life?
Percentages, no?
Yeah.
Percentages of truth.
Degrees of certainty.
Yeah. Even the colors, right? I see a different red from you because we have different eyes. The shades, Yeah. I mean, there's no. I think that's I believe there's not a 100%.
Can I share a screen real quick?
Go.
Yes, please.
Let's see if this works. Hold on. I'm gonna undo it real quick. I gotta change something. How do I undo this? Okay, there. It's just an image that I want to share that might add another perspective.
That's a map. It's very small though. Can you, like
Can you see that?
we see your whole screen, but the map is small.
Can you enlarge the image? Yeah, there.
Okay.
Attack
enlarge
Pearl
it?
Harbor according to flat earthers.
So
Whoa.
this is a map of the Earth, and planes from Japan would have had to travel all this way to attack Pearl Harbor.
No, I've seen other maps. I've seen other maps from flat earthers that it's a disk.
So either way, they would have had to have gone in a giant circle, which planes cannot travel that far because they know the mileage that a fighter jet can travel.
But if,
So
let me Google. But I can.
instead
but
of
I'm on
traveling
my phone. Yeah.
from Japan, instead of traveling west and going all that way around, they would have only had to have traveled east across half of the Pacific Ocean to reach Pearl Harbor. That's what that's pointing out. And that's another perspective of evidence that would show this.
Why did they go west though?
Well, it's to disprove the flat Earth belief.
How?
If Earth was flat, then Japan would have had to flown planes west all the way around by Australia, past Africa, past South America, and then up to the Pacific. Right?
So if the Earth were flat, then Japan and Pearl Harbor will be close neighbors, and they
on
don't
opposite
have to
sides
fight
of the world.
Yeah. Yes.
Instead
But
of Japan just going.
Their map here is that they situated both areas like the edges, close to the edges. So
if the Earth is flat, it's got to have an edge, and then it stops, right?
So
I'm gonna show you the map that I found here in my Google. Let's see if you can. You tell me. I'm just showing you my computer, so that's what. Can you see my computer?
I'm gonna stop sharing.
Yeah. Oh, that's the map.
That's the map. Why is it so shady? Yeah, there. Let me try to put some light there.
The strange thing about their map is that they have a disc for a map.
Yeah.
But they don't entertain the idea that the Earth is spherical.
Yeah, it's a disc. That's what they're saying. It's a disc. So I don't know where Japan would be there. I cannot really distinguish. I think this is Africa down here. Yeah, this is Africa because that's Spain. So Japan, I don't know where Japan would be. Is that Japan? No.
A little bit left.
Yeah, somewhere there. So they
right.
They would have
that little island. Yeah. So even here. Let's see. There's the United States. Yeah, even on this, they would have had to have traveled in a roundish arc to get there.
Yeah, I get them.
A small fighter jet can only travel so many miles, especially the old ones with, less efficient engines. So they wouldn't have been able to make that trek and then get all the way back to Japan like they did. That's the point of this map. So here's another thing. If you look at that flat Earth map, and I've seen videos where they try to show how the sun would move around the Earth like this, around the disk. For one, they don't have an explanation for what's making the sun move in this shape to light up different parts of the Earth at different times.
But not having an explanation doesn't mean it's not true. There's been explanations for many things, because that's what we do with science. Science is the way for us to explain the world to ourselves so we understand it. But it doesn't mean it's true. That's the reality. It's just our interpretation of it. So many times when we don't know something, it doesn't mean that it's fake. It just means that we don't understand it. And the answer is, I don't know the answer, right?
Right. But that's where scientific theory comes into play, is it tries to explain the nature of something and how and why it happens. So where the flat earthers would say the sun's doing this around a flat earth, they have no explanation of it to add more weight to their theory. Whereas in science, if they say the earth is round and the solar system is a system that goes around the sun, there is an explanation for that, and it applies to all of the planets and the moons of the solar system. So that gives it weight. That makes it more likely to be true. And unless proven otherwise, you'd have to go with that theory over the flat earth theory, which has no explanation for why the sun would do this. And then my other point on top of that is, if you have a flat disk like this, right? And the sun is up here going in circles on top of it, right? Are you guys still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
If the sun's doing this and it's a ball of light, like a light bulb in all directions, putting a light that's round and putting light out in every direction and making it do this over a flat surface is not going to change. It's not going to make certain parts of the flat area dark and certain areas light. It's not a flashlight going in a beam. It's a round ball. That means it lights up the whole thing regardless of where it's at above the flat object. That makes no sense.
What if it's a flashlight, as you said?
But it's not a flashlight. You can see that it's putting light out in all
Can
directions.
you guys see the picture I'm
Yeah,
sharing?
yeah, so cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
well,
did you guys watch the movie The Truman Show?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. His
Jim
whole
Carrey.
world was invented, you know? Even the sky was fake.
yeah. But see, a person like that would not have been given the education to have critical thinking skills, where we have the benefit of that from previous generations.
No, he doubted it. That's why he discovered the truth, no? Because he doubted. And
He doubted it though
then
because he
discovered.
saw little cracks in the
In the
game
Matrix.
that was being played. He saw things that gave him the idea that it might not be true. He didn't just come up with it on his own. See, it was experience that made him think, is this fake?
Yeah.
Because people were doing things inconsistently. He was seeing little things that he could tell were not right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He didn't just come up with the idea. That's why the human mind works in a way, it works off of experience. There's no values, there's no knowledge that is intuitive. It all comes from our environment.
Can we say that, I mean, like, can you say that you're really Clifton Barnes, 100%?
No,
Why not?
because when you wake up every day, your past life could just be a memory. It could be projected in your mind. That's possible, but is it likely?
Look
That's
at the
what you
Men
have
in
to ask
Black.
yourself.
Look at Men in Black.
But if you have to live your life according to a certain narrative, are you going to live it in terms of something that has a 0.0001% or something that has a 90%
Yeah.
chance?
Yeah, you'll go with a more logical, what makes more sense to you.
Yes, it's more logical to everybody that our life is an ongoing thing and that it's not just memories projected into our head. We've actually lived it. We can't do anything about it anyways, even if it was. So what are you going to do? How are you going to break out of the matrix if you don't even know what the matrix really is?
There you go.
You can't. So you have to live your life according to what your experience tells you. It's just that simple.
So, like, if you're saying there's no God, either way, and either equivocally or or equivocally. Why? First of all, you'll have to reach a point where you ask, is the universe finite or infinite? Because if the universe were infinite, there's no place for God there, like the way people describe God, right? And so if the world is finite, on the other hand, then the description of God fits the picture, maybe. But then you have to ask, what holds the finite universe in place? What supports it? To what gives it its shape or encapsulation? Because there has to be like a force outside of it. And if God is nothing, and how can immateriality have an effect on something material, on something, and vice versa? Because movement only is an attribute of matter, of substance, because you need brawn for motion, and motion always entails an effect, also means an effect on something else, like some other kind of manifestation of matter or motion. See? So, because if I threw a bottle of beer to the wall or at the wall, then it will break because it hit something. And along the way, in its flight, in its trajectory, it also hit the air, and etc., etc. It hit the X-rays and whatever else, the subatomic world or things, So, but if I hit nothing, like we're just doing this as a thought experiment, then I would hit nothing, and vice versa. How can nothingness have an effect on something if it had no brawn, if it has no brawn to start with?
Not sure I follow you, but I think I know
So
where you're trying to get at.
so we start with if there were a God, right? And so the cosmos or the universe would most likely be finite, and it could expand. If something is finite and it's an entity, then it could expand, right? Because otherwise infinity cannot expand. See, but if the world were an entity, or the universe were an entity, or finite, uh, what would hold it in its place? What would keep it afloat? In manner of speaking, because for something to have an encapsulation or a limit like that, to give it shape, it has to have some external force acting upon it, and that force cannot be immaterial.
So that's where God would be, the one
No,
holding the
but
universe.
God is you cannot call God immaterial. I mean, material cannot be material. Otherwise, he'd be part of the universe now, because the universe is encapsulated as a finite thing, and a God should not be included there, because that's creation, and God is not creation.
Well, but none of us here believe in God, right?
No, but we are raising the question to verify and validate our position.
I believe it's infinite. The universe is infinite.
But how do you mean that? How do you mean infinite?
Yeah, infinite in time and space. There's no beginning, there's no end. It's forever. It's like an 8,
But do you know? Do you know that an 8 the infinity is like the two-dimensional. You know, the Mobius strip is the somehow is a concept, right? Not the actual strip, because the actual strip is three-dimensional, right? The actual Mobius strip, when you make it out of paper, is three-dimensional. So, but the conceptual Mobius strip is two-dimensional. Is the two-dimensional version of the actual Klein bottle, which is a manifold, like, you know, the actual Klein bottle. So it's half of it. Half of the Klein bottle is infinity, is the Mobius strip. But you know, infinity in terms of extent and matter and substance, you know, infinity. We do not, we cannot, in this instance, we cannot represent it with a symbol. Okay, we just talk about expanse, you know, expanse of matter.
I don't think it expands.
No, expanse, like the entirety of it, you know. But we cannot even call it an entirety, because it's not an entity, you know. It's not a one, it's not a zero, it's not anything, it's just infinite, right? Because when you assign a number to it, like a unit, like it's a one, like infinity is as a thing, you know, it's not a thing even, because it doesn't have borders, it doesn't have limits.
Yeah, it's infinite, and the human mind is not capable of understanding it fully.
I think it. I mean, I think it can, because if a mind can create concepts, like come up with concepts like expanding universe, which presupposes a finite universe, then it knows the opposite of that.
But yeah, and those are theories also, you know. It's like expanding universe, all those are theories from scientists and stuff, but maybe that's not it.
But
Maybe
you
that's
can,
not the truth.
but
Yeah.
in an infinite paradigm or model of a cosmos, you can observe, like in the limited portions of it, you can observe things to seem to be, you know, expanding. Like when I walk away from you, and there's like and more people are walking away from each other. For instance, it's just like galaxies walking, you know, doing that, and we can say that, oh, a certain portion in space is expanding, because, you know, people or galaxies are moving away from each other, when in actuality it's just, you know, things displacing each other, adjusting to conditions, you know. And so we observe the illusion of expansion there, within a small portion of the whole thing. See,
And
so what really is what should be the position of a like an atheist who's completely sure that there's no God? Because it has to be like a physics position.
you cannot prove that. You cannot prove that. You cannot be 100% sure of it. Like you cannot be 100% sure of anything. At the end, it's like you will say it's likely. You know, I don't think there's no evidence, so I don't think there is. But if he appears in my kitchen, as we said in the beginning, you know, I start
What do you
believing.
expect to see if he appears in your kitchen, though? Like, if you're expecting him to appear there, what do you expect to see?
A floating blob.
You know, so there you go. We all our ideas or imagination or models of something, like maybe an alien. You know, an alien has already terrestrial parts. So Fresco would argue that, hey, that's not really an alien, it's just a conglomerate or a smorgasbord of terrestrial things we've already seen. And so we have like images or models, or, you know, images of Jesus or God, right? Like they're anthropomorphic. The idea of God is really anthropomorphic, it's human-like.
Yeah.
So,
because
So
that's what people need. And they
it's a
actually,
concept.
in my belief, I believe that ancient aliens created humanity, and those are the gods that the Egyptians drew. The ancient aliens that visited us, and they saw them, and that's what they drew. They're not drawing with their imagination; they're drawing what they saw, their
Yeah,
memory.
yeah, because we cannot draw from non-experience. We can only draw from experience. That's how creativity works. And so there's no such thing as creationism, like drawing from nothing, from the void.
How about if you draw a dragon? You know, you never saw a dragon, but you draw, well, because you saw it in okay. But someone drew the first dragon somewhere.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
because
so
they were with the dinosaurs, but that's
the
not a good
problem,
example. Okay, a fairy. You never saw a fairy?
but the person saw a bird with wings or a butterfly with wings and stuff like that.
Yeah, so they combined. Yeah, okay.
Yes. So I mean, like, but there are people who testify, who have claims or testimonies of have from of or have memories from a previous life.
Yeah.
How do we explain that? It's vivid. It's excuse me, detailed and stuff.
Why not? I look at their eyes and I follow my gut. Sometimes it sounds so believable. I believe them.
And so, well, the point I'm making only is that this mechanistic view, anyway, like the non-dualistic. I mean, and when I refer to not dualistic, is the worldview that entertains the idea of the material cohabiting or coexisting with the immaterial. Like, and those are people who believe the mind is immaterial, it's metaphysical, and people may have a soul, our life force, consciousness is also immaterial, and people have free will, because in it concepts like that only make sense in a dualistic setting like that, as opposed to in the non-dualistic or mechanistic setting, which, by the way, would cement somebody's atheism, because that's the absolute, that's the position that would explain everything, supposedly explains everything, which would support why people should just really share things, because in the actual world, supposedly, I mean, like, according to this position of the mechanistic position or understanding of the world, things cannot really be evaluated or quantified, really, because we can never have uh, um, entities isolated from the rest of the world, like free of friction and all that. And so we can only have averages in actual life. See, and when we talk about your value, for example, as a person, then it would only mean that your value is the rest of the world, like everything included, because it takes the rest of the world, or the whole world, to make you, as well as other things. So this is like really all things being interdependent. So we cannot affix or attach a put a price tag on anything, because that's a delusion of, as a resulting from this dualistic understanding of the world. Like, you can, like, pluck a fruit from the tree and then just put a value to the fruit, like, it's 5 pesos or something, but actually it took the whole world to create that food. Yeah, I mean, like, maybe the air doesn't really, may appear to not really have any significant contribution or effect on, I don't know, a rusting or I don't know, a butterfly or something, you thinking, whatever, the most distant thing in the cosmos still contributes to your existence, but there's no particular I to speak about in strictly, in this kind of model or in the actual world, because no man is an island, as they say, and you can never be isolated. So I mean, like, um, we that position, like from that position, maybe you can say the world is most likely mechanistic, or will is more mechanistic than dualist, because the dualistic position is so problematic. And what does the law of thermodynamics say? Like, you can neither create nor destroy matter, and there's no difference between matter and energy, but people think of the two as if they were different, like energy were immaterial, but matter is, there's no difference between the two. See, or I mean, like, it would be great to shift the conversation into this kind of uh, exchange someday somehow, because we're busy like discussing what we already know, what we've already experienced in ordinary life, the usual concerns and problems. But people have to I'm sorry, I think that people will have to learn to think in those terms. I think, while it's understandable that people are not used to that kind of mind exercise or ruminations. Um, and it also explains the position of Jacques Fresco. I heard Clifton talk to you about Jacques Fresco, right, a while ago. That
Yeah. Also,
yeah, and this really explains, the mechanistic view really explains the human condition, or the truth about, or the fact of human behavior, as opposed to human nature, because there's no such thing as human nature actually. Mm. And I'll have to ask you what you think of human nature. Do you believe there's human nature?
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, exactly. What do you mean, or what do I mean by human nature?
I don't know, natural behaviors, instinctive behaviors. I would understand that's what it means.
Hmm. When would you say that people are naturally greedy?
Yeah,
Why?
survival. I need to, because the meat out there is finite, so I have to keep actually connecting with the richness and the poorness. For people to be rich, you need to have poor people, because if everyone was the same, there wouldn't be a difference. There wouldn't be
Mhm.
rich or poor. We would all be just us. So there's, sadly to say, we need the poor in order to be rich. So there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the
Well,
greed. There is greed.
I
I
mean,
feel
like,
it. Yeah.
you're right in saying that in reference to the present context we're in, like, as a human, I mean, as a humanity, right? As humanity as a whole, you can say that people would become greedy eventually, but they're not born greedy, right? Are babies greedy?
Yes, they're always saying mine, mine, mine.
Babies greedy?
Well, before they can speak, no, not before they can speak.
But
toddlers.
I'm sorry, Cliff, what you were saying?
Toddlers are like that.
Toddlers. Okay. All right. So you see, it's a natural thing to expect from a system like this, because people are brought up in a culture that's competitive, right? And there's always a scarcity, right? people will always be lacking something.
Mm.
And so, within the same context, it's right to say that people are naturally greedy because people have to compete one way or the other eventually, at some point after.
Yeah, I mean, imagine you have to compete for the same girl. If two guys like the
Yeah.
same girl, you have to compete for it.
But it's only, I mean, like, and also it's taboo to have two partners at the same time, two
Who
sexual
said?
partners.
Who said?
Many people many
Christians
people
say.
say that.
Christians think that way,
Hmm.
not Muslims.
Not Muslims. Hmm. Yeah.
Some African
So
tribes also don't think that way.
but then what would be the most scientific or dependable standard for behavior in terms of relationships?
No rules in the bedroom. No standards.
You see, so if in different cultures that they behave differently, they have different sexual standards or whatever, relationship standards, and for some culture, beauty is they don't see beauty the same way.
Yeah.
And so we can also say there's no really such a thing as beauty. It's just a cultural thing, because it's not standard. There's such a thing as hunger, right? I
Mhm.
think it's universal also, but the fact of hunger can be eliminated if we just knew better about nature, about people, and if we harness the available resources we have into something that can benefit mankind, right? We can use technology to provide people with what they need.
We could, but they don't want. It's not interesting to finish hunger
Would
because
you?
you need the poor.
Yeah, but would you, if you knew how to, would you do it?
As a Raelian, our paradise is on earth and it's called paradism, where robots work and produce the food for us and we just sing and dance and read books and chill. So all humanity don't need to work because robots do all the work for us and feed us.
Who started Raelian philosophy?
Rael himself. Yeah.
Rael.
Yeah. That's why we're Raelians. We follow Rael.
What is his background?
He was abducted by a UFO. Yeah, that's why we keep on going back to the alien thing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he was abducted 70 years ago, whether 60 years ago, whether he's 70 something, and they told him stuff, and he wrote books. So like other religions out there, they get inspired by the gods and they write books. So yeah, and so we have many concepts of how to live life, and paradism really it's a beautiful reality that's becoming reality very fast in the
Was
real
Rael
nowadays. Yeah.
was Rael like a maybe before he was abducted? Was he like inclined towards science or robots or technology or?
He was a journalist and a race car driver. That kind of stuff. Singer a little. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're a singer. You're an
I'm a
actor.
singer. Yeah. And I'm chosen by the Elohim, our ancient fathers. Yeah.
Okay. So do you believe that Rael has the answer to the world's problems?
To many of them, for example, for government, he wrote a book called Geniocracy. So throw away democracy, put geniocracy, which is a government of geniuses, because democracy is the government of the most popular, and the one who has more money for a marketing campaign. It's it's a terrible system, and that's how it's going right now for the whole world. We're into political correctness because we have to cater to the majority the whole time. The majority is always wrong. The majority is mediocre, you know.
Mhm.
So the smart people should lead, not the majority. The majority, by definition, is mediocre. So it's like they'll always want to stay with a mediocre normal life. If you want to have an awesome life and have the world improve, you need great brains. So
But the majority, let's say, how many million was that? 31, 41?
how many
Many
millions
millions. Yeah.
in the Philippines?
Yeah.
100 plus.
No, no, I mean like the majority who voted for was that 31 million?
For the president now. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and many of them are educated.
Well, not many, because the 90% of the population in the Philippines are poor. So not many of the voters can be educated. Most
Well, a significant amount then. So, to call them mediocre, what do you really mean by that?
normal, average.
Okay, they're not geniuses.
They're not, definitely not. Yeah.
Okay, I mean like okay. So have you like stumbled upon other maybe figures or people who may have thought of a maybe a holistic, who may have come up with a holistic solution to the world's problems?
I mean, we can. I don't know if that I overread the Venus project that you guys were see Clifton was talking about a while ago with me. Like that's one of the projects to, no, the Venus project to solve, if I'm not confused, no, to feed everyone and have a harmonious lifestyle. You know, there are projects out there. There are great ideas out there, but it's not interesting for the people with most money, actually. You know, we don't
Yeah.
want to solve world
So
hunger.
that's why we have I have Clifton here every week on board. Because he's been volunteering for maybe 10 years or so now. And I think he has a lot to say about your inclination towards Raelianism, and maybe can point out the similarities and that Raelianism has with the Venus Project, and maybe the differences. So, Tiff?
Yeah. I have to get going soon, but this would be a good topic to cover, like human nature next week. Raelianism. I just pulled it up on Wikipedia and I'm reading about it.
Don't believe everything you see.
And I'm going to learn a little bit about it. So this is something you follow?
I am a Raelian. That's my religion.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
I've
But
been
yeah, I
for a few
definitely
years.
I would have some things to say about all that stuff.
Yeah.
But just real quick though about the Venus Project, it's not a religion, it's not a cult, it's not nothing like that. I'm a volunteer, so anything I say may not precisely reflect the views of the Venus Project, and I don't legally represent them, but I do advocate for their ideas. And it's what it is just an organization that has a set of aims and proposals that was founded by two people, Jacques Fresco and Roxanne Meadows. And what they propose is a system that applies the methods of science directly to the social system, not as a part of an economy or a market, but a way to organize the entire planet as one civilization working together as a unit. in order to achieve a sustainable, humane, global civilization. And it's one that would do it in terms of the goals would be to restore the environment, meet everyone's needs, and raise the standard of living of all people through technology and science. And it involves a whole lot of details as to how that would happen, but it's a general blueprint for how to achieve sustainability on the planet, basically.
Sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not based on any religion. It's not based on the current economic system. It's a whole new socioeconomic design, a whole new model. And that's why it's so difficult to spread to the masses, because the system we live on now is establishment oriented and deeply monetary, whereas this is something that would abolish all of that eventually. Not abolish it, but outgrow it to the point where money was not necessary any longer.
But will they allow you? That's the thing.
Well,
Will they allow you? Because it's in their worst interest to let that happen.
the powers that be would hate for this to happen because it removes them of their position of power and influence. But the good thing about that is that technology is already moving us in that direction. And we're starting to see the environmental problems with our current socioeconomic model. And it doesn't matter what the people in power want if the masses are educated and mobilized together. They have no power. So it can be done, but it can't be done without a large amount of mass education and awareness. And without that, it can't happen, because the Venus Project has no power and has very little money. So one reason why I want to gain financial independence is not just for my own security, but that frees people up who can do that to do things that they're really passionate about, which is volunteer for the good of the planet, if they want. And as long as you're working a job full time, that takes away a lot of your time and ability. And
exactly.
If you have no money to do anything, you have no power in this world. So just look at politics and what that revolves around. It revolves around money. And that's why they have the power.
Yeah, that's why what I always say is that power without money is just cheap. People do it for the money.
You can gain power other ways, like if you're an influencer and you're a cult and you have people that believe everything you say, you can have some power.
Primarily for the money. To gain power is just icing on the cake.
Yeah, money is the currency of the world economy. So it's the currency of our economic model. It's valued, it's measured in terms of dollars or whatever your currency is. So those who have the most of it have the most power and influence, and those who have the least are the more enslaved by it. So
could you share with the people watching a little backgrounder on Fresco, his accomplishments, the fields he covered?
Well, he wasn't accomplished in the terms that most people understand. He wasn't a intellectual with degrees. He was a self-taught scientist, and he was a multidisciplinarian who traveled a lot of places to learn. And he had his own research that he did. He had his own concepts of economics. He drew thousands and thousands of designs of what he would see as better ways to build houses, buildings, and cities that were more efficient. He was a student of language and of semantics. He was highly interested in human behavior and did not believe in human nature or free will. And he started his own concept or model of this type of a city in Venus, Florida, which is why it's called the Venus Project. And it's a 20-acre property with 10 buildings that he designed and built, him and Roxanne, of concrete dome-shaped structures that are meant to show people what the outer part of the city would look like out in nature. And that's where thousands of his designs and hundreds of hand-built models are kept, and have been doing tours where people from around the world come to learn about his ideas. He was a modern day Da Vinci in a way.
He designed aircrafts that were commercially
Yeah. He went into
commercially
the
sold.
army at one point when he was younger, and he described himself as a social engineer, but he designed medical equipment, aircraft. He worked in the film industry on technology, like three-dimensional film, without having to use glasses. He designed a way to do that.
He was the
He
first.
was a Da Vinci, and he just died in 2017. And people around the world know him and have visited there and advocate for his ideas. But mostly, it's a movement of people, not movement, but it's a group of people who are mostly, they assemble online and sometimes go to the actual Venus Project in Florida and try to work with Roxanne and help out. She's now the director because he
One thing for
died.
sure, he wasn't abducted by the aliens.
Absolutely
Don't
not.
be biased. Don't be biased.
He was abducted by critical thinking early on
but
in his life.
I mean, like, there is a clip of Fresco speaking about so many things, including Egypt, Nostradamus, and aliens also. I would love to share that with you sometime to to think for yourself, to listen to it and find out if he's making sense, because I'm fond of using the alien icon in my posts, but that's just to say, like, to somebody whose artwork is so mind-blowing, for instance, that you're not human or something like that. Hey, you're great or something like that. But I think I did really come to a point where I delved really deep into the investigations of alien sightings, UFO sightings, and all that. But I don't know with you, Kuya, did you reach that point where you really researched a lot on aliens
Yeah, I mean, I've seen footage and stuff. But the thing is, if you watch this Ancient Aliens documentaries in History Channel, it makes sense. Many things. Some things might be far-fetched, but there are many things that make sense. And you see the drawings and everything, and it's a good explanation for what happened. As we determined before, we cannot really know the truth absolutely of everything, but it makes sense, So for the same reason, it makes sense for me to believe that there are aliens. It makes sense to me to believe in the explanation of the world that Rael gave me. So it just makes sense, and it helps me more than the previous explanations that I had. So that's why I jumped into it, and it's
Yeah.
been helping my life ever since.
Yeah.
I'm happier.
I would say there are terrestrial bodies, but they cannot be humanoid. Long before I met Fresco, I mean, I discovered Fresco. I used to say that in discussions, that the aliens cannot be humanoid in appearance. But we have explanations like, well, when they're on Earth, they have to adjust, and so they appear humanoid and stuff like that, right? There are people called shapeshifters in government, etc., etc., right?
Yeah, in the
These are
movies. Yeah.
these are aliens who are operating undercover, etc., etc.
We believe the aliens are just humans from another planet.
Oh,
No, you're
That,
talking about Men in Black, Stephen. That's Men in Black.
yeah, the shifters and all that Men in Black. We believe we
no,
were
it's another
created.
shapeshifter.
Yeah, we were created with a DNA sample from another human that lives in another planet,
Hmm.
scientifically, like cloning. Because right now we have cloning in humanity already. And right now we're gonna go to Mars with Elon Musk, right? And he's gonna populate Mars. So we're doing to Mars the same thing other planets did to us before.
Well, yeah, but I'm not sure about the caricature or the representation of the alien appearance. So I'm partial. I mean, I'm not so sold to the representation of the
There's
alien
many
appearance.
representation. There's monster aliens out
Yeah.
there from the movies, and then, but for us, they're just humans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So not really monster like or whatever.
No,
Noseless, whatever.
no.
No.
Humans, we are created as a clone from them in a laboratory, DNA. So we're just that's why we're like the sons. We're the sons of those
Gods.
colonizers or whatever you want to call it.
Gods.
You know? Extraterrestrials, and people confuse them for God. That's it.
Yeah, people confuse it, like the Egyptians, for instance. Or is it also like the remains, the remaining, what, how do you call it? Or the goo, how did Fresco put it? The
For what?
primordial um what did he call it? Primordial slime. What did he put it that way?
Um, yeah, I think I know what you're talking.
Primordial slime. So basically,
I don't remember.
the old humans, they were really what do you call it? Not animistic. It's how did the they believed the center of their world was the sun, pagan. We're all
Mhm.
I think Christians are still very pagan in their beliefs, right? And many other religions are still pagan, and so Egyptians had their Amun Ra as their god, and I don't know how. I don't know, like how the idea of angels or people sent from
Because
heaven riding on a
imagine it's a UFO,
oh yeah
and people go up and down there with a
light,
beam. You
the
know,
beams.
if we saw that today, we would write on Facebook, "I saw a spaceship," blah blah blah. But 5,000 years ago, they saw something flying, and they said, "Huh,
Oh.
chariots from the gods."
Mm-hmm,
You know, but
mm-hmm.
it's just the same thing, no? It's a spaceship, a visitor from outside, and the
What,
angels are
wh-
just like
why do you
superior.
think would they visit here? What would they gain from visiting here?
They came to create us.
Oh, to extend. I mean, like for procreation for.
To colonize the universe. Yeah. To expand the DNA.
Oh,
Hey, I'm gonna take off, you guys. I have to get going and eat, but if you're gonna be here next week, I'll probably see you then and we can further
Yeah.
discuss this stuff.
I'm at 11% battery now.
oh yeah, oh yeah. So I mean,
Oh,
like we're
okay.
down to our last few minutes here. Okay, so I thank you guys for making time
Yeah,
tonight.
thank you too. Interesting.
Yeah. So
Thank
Clifton
you.
is already hungry, and well, I think we should make Kuya Manzano pick a page from the book of quotes by Fresco.
Sure.
So
Explain to them what it is.
yes, and leave the quote for people and us maybe to mull over.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, he's also called a futurist because he was really ahead of his time. Until now, he's still ahead of our
Hmm.
time.
I want to go to see the. I didn't know that the Venus Project had a physical 10
Location,
buildings already.
yes, yeah, it's in
I would like to see
Venus,
that.
Florida.
Well, for you and anyone that sees this or hears it, you can go to thevenusproject.com to learn more about it. And there's all kinds of social media platforms they're on, and many thousands of hours of video on YouTube. But this book here is a book of quotes. He was very well known for speaking and lecturing a lot about his ideas. And they put a book of quotes together of things that he said in different places. And so there's 201 of them in here. So if you want to pick a number between 1 and 201, I'll read it. And that's how we usually end the show.
156,
Okay.
which was what that was my number as an intern
Wow.
in the boarding school. 156.
You I often see you
Okay.
share videos of your office. What kind of work do you do, if you don't mind?
Kuya?
Yeah.
IT. I'm an IT consultant.
Wow. Wow.
Since
Seriously.
since a year ago because of the lockdown, money, 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 money.
Nice. Nice. Nice.
After
Yeah.
I lost all my businesses, it's like, oh my God, because of the lockdown, I lost everything I had. I was
You
retired.
you
I had,
you work
I
with
had,
you work with computers or AI stuff.
yeah, everything, software services, yeah,
Wow.
troubleshooting.
Cool. Cool. Now we
We'll have
have
to keep
more.
in touch.
Yes, we have to keep in touch here. Keep talking. You know.
Yeah, love having intelligent conversation.
Yeah. You can find me on Facebook, but I usually just stick with Venus Project stuff on there. But we could trade information as well.
Okay,
Otherwise,
I'll
Stephen
send
probably
you
has.
this
What's that?
barn.
Yeah. You can find me. It's not hard. So
Your
you said
friend,
what?
I'm sure you're friends with Ethan.
Yeah, if you're on there. We also talk on Signal as well, Signal Messenger. I'm trying to use that more. And I'll read the quote here.
I think
156.
there's many Clifton barns here.
Do
The
you have
one.
access to the chat room on here?
Yeah, but in my phone. What's your icon?
I'm sitting in front of a fallen wood structure with trees, tree roots behind me.
Not with with the Ukrainian flag?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my I support Ukraine thing that Facebook offered.
Okay.
Do you support Ukraine, Kuya?
No,
No.
I don't.
He wants them all to die. all those Ukrainians because
Yeah.
they're evil.
No, because they're just a puppet of the state, I think. That's it.
I support them because I can imagine having another country invade yours and try to erase your country from the map, and how horrible that would be, and all the people that are dying there and suffering, and the children.
Yeah,
I support.
it's a
I support them
complicated
ending.
issue. Yeah.
I think all people should be able to defend themselves, and I'm in favor of helping those who can't defend themselves. So that's why I support them.
Hmm. Yeah.
But it is very complicated. The region is it's got a long history of issues.
Yeah, well, the bottom line is really we abhor, we keep away, we don't like um, what's this violence in any form.
Yeah, I mean, from where Fresco would look at it, he'd say that this is one nation trying to take land from another nation, and that's one of the reasons why we all need to come together, is because you'll always have disputes over land as long as there are borders, and it goes way deeper than that, but that's one of the symptoms of the problem. It's not the problem. Money is a symptom of the problem. It's not the problem. It all goes down to
how we understand the world.
Yeah, first concepts thinking.
How we understand the world, really.
Yeah. Anyway.
So his quote.
156. What if a person does not want to live in the Venus Project? Can they live on their own lifestyle? Live their own lifestyle? Yes, they can. They do not have to live under the Venus Project. If there is a religious group that wants to build its own community and wants nothing to do with the Venus Project, say the Amish people, they are free to live any lifestyle they want. That was from a seminar he gave in 2011 on TeamSpeak.
Yeah. So we don't twist anybody's wrist to join or whatever. It's just
it's not about that. It's like the methods of science. It's a way of thinking, and it's if we align ourselves in that way, it will benefit all people. If we ever arrive at that.
Education, but it's hard to explain certain things. It takes practice. It takes constant, discussions like this. We just have to do this more often because we learn either way, and both ways.
So
I'm also
check it out.
I'm also quite interested in Raelian philosophy. Because it's
we can talk about that. Yeah. Just whenever we talk about that in the future, just know that we don't debate. Just you can ask me, I can inform you, I can tell you what it is. No, it's not like I'm gonna discuss to prove win the truth or something like that.
No, it's a matter of working with people on commonalities, with on commonalities like we all need clean water, clean air, healthy food, relevant education, all of that.
We lack a lot of healthy food in our menu, daily menu. Now that I'm becoming a bodybuilder, I need a lot of healthy stuff, healthy protein.
Yeah.
Nice.
Or fiber. You need fiber.
Yeah, I'm eating oats for fiber. Yeah, a lot.
Try taking creatine, it helps.
Huh?
Creatine is a supplement that's scientifically proven to help with muscle building.
Creatine, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hired a bodybuilding coach. Well,
Wow.
he gave me like a whole, because after years of trying to do it myself, I didn't get anywhere really. I wasn't consistent, so I got someone that worked for me. Accountability from outside, that's how I was saying. So he tells me what to eat, what exercise to do. So we've been with it like a couple of weeks, and I can see a difference in my body already. And like I keep posting about it, showing my body and
Do
showing
you
the food I'm eating.
do you bike or you have a bike? No.
No,
If you did,
How
I would invite
I
you
know
for a
you're a
ride.
biker. Yes.
how far do you guys live from each other?
I don't
Um,
even know. Pasig.
You're in Pasig. That's not so far away. I'm here in Diliman, so
How many kilometers is that?
maybe 20 something.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Not too
Hmm.
not too far.
It's about 12 miles,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
I could bike there for an hour or so, or at least an hour, maybe. I'm not
Well,
sure.
one of these days, I plan on visiting Philippines and
Yeah.
seeing Steven, and we'll all have to hang out.
We'll take you out
Yeah.
to the
Absolutely.
darkest places. Yes, you're gonna enjoy that.
I want to meet your Raelian community.
Yeah, I don't mingle with them much. I don't agree with something that's happening. But like my Spanish friend came and he was here for a week, and wow, there's so many cities to visit inside the metro, the Mega Manila. Blind massage. We took him to the ocean, to a cryotherapy chamber. That was very interesting. Cryotherapy, research it. It's like they put
Yeah,
you at the minus 110 degrees for
Wow.
3 minutes.
yeah.
It's like,
They
oh
have
my
some of those here.
God! There's a lot of interesting stuff to do. Yeah, yeah.
You
Did
can
have
also
you
just fill
have
a
you
tub full of ice water and sit in it too. That helps. That's great.
Mhm. They say it's
It's,
good for
e-
the skin and everything, but it's suffering. It's suffering.
it's even worse than cryo because it's water. It sucks the heat
oh
right out of you
oh
more than air does,
oh
like
And
25
you have to
times
stay
more.
there in the water. You have to stay for like 45 minutes or something. Like, oh my gosh,
That might kill you. I'd start with 2 minutes. If you can bear it for 2 minutes, you'd be
it's
wow.
pretty
tough.
tough.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot to see. Yeah, there's a lot of historical places. I'm a tour guide also in my free time for the historical
Oh,
part in Manila.
excellent.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you're perfect
like
then.
like I mentioned, he's an actor.
I'm an actor, a singer, but because of the lockdown, I got a real job.
Ah,
And I mean, I was out of the rat race. So you know where I was before the lockdown.
yeah.
I had Uber cars, I had real estate, I had gasoline station investment, massage chairs in the mall, I had a coffee shop, and everything went to the dogs because of the lockdown.
Wow,
Yeah.
man, that's really bad.
That's why I
That's
had to get
that's
a job.
why that's why investing is the way to
Oh
go. You
yeah.
can't
Yep.
And
can't get locked
like
down out of investing.
having like an actual business which could disappear, which could dissolve anytime. It's not really, if
Chances
Yeah.
are it will disappear,
well,
actually.
yeah, actually.
Most businesses go to the dogs, statistically.
Yeah.
So unless you've invested in real estate or you know,
And the big whales. Those are the two things. The blue chips and real estate, the big companies in real estate. That will probably be there 20 years, 30 years after. Those are the
Yeah.
most safe
yeah,
investments, I would
yeah,
say.
yeah.
Yeah. Everyone has to have a place to live, and unless the whole global economy breaks down, your stocks and big blue chip companies will probably always be there a lot longer than you will. So
Yes. Oh, okay. So this has been a great pleasure, guys,
Same,
having you
same.
here. Uh, wow. I mean,
nice to meet you.
it was a pleasant surprise to have Kuya.
Yeah,
You know.
I'm happy I did it. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So hopefully we can do this again next Sunday, and we could talk more about so many other things. It has been educational for me, just listening to you guys talk about stocks and all that. Wow.
Same, same.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
And
Yeah.
we'll have to message you sometime soon to get more tips.
Yeah, yeah, no, coffee. Let's have a coffee in real life. Yeah, and then,
Yeah, okay. All right,
Yeah.
let's arrange that. Okay, then. Thank you so much, guys. And also
Yeah.
to Rex, who was here, who was just listening, but he had to go. Uh, Well, that it was also pleasant and great to have him. Okay, so as we always
Right.
say here, live long and prosper. We extension you all.
But
Have a
I'm a
good
Star
nice
Wars
life.
fan.
You have what?
I'm a Star Wars fan, not a
Oh,
not a
okay.
Trekkie.
No problem. No
May the
problem.
force be with you.
Yes.
I
These
watched
are not the
both.
droids you're looking for.
We watch both. I'm a fan of that the little Master Yoda.
Little Yoda.
I have to watch that. I still haven't seen that.
Yeah, and off we go for now. For now, off
Alright.
we go.
Okay,
Great
guys.
conversation. Nice to meet you, Puyo.
Yes.
Pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
I already added you. Okay.
Yeah. Bon appetit,
Alright,
Clifton and Kuya
Alright.
Manzano. See you soon.
Pleasure.
Thanks, Steven,
Bye-bye.
again
Thank
for
you.
doing
Thank
this.
you, everyone.
Take care, guys. Bye, everyone.